make something special day and night. Colors explode with each new design. In Drive will Draw, it's always fun.
And we are live. I welcome everybody joining in today as we are going to be talking. Hold on a second. I realize what's going on. I'm hearing an echo, and I'll be fix that. Let's see here. There we go. Much better. Alright, so tonight we're going to be talking about some touchy subjects. One, we were originally going to, when we planned this out, we were originally just going to be talking about the Colbert situation. But then yesterday happened, and yeah, we need to talk about Vshojo. And ironically, they kind of play into each other in reverse. So you're gonna have one where the talent is the problem, and one where the industry is the problem. So, for those who don't know, my name is and I do a lot of art and comics, and we also do a couple of shows, and this is our topical show, a Drivel Draw. I welcome everybody joining in. You're free to welcome and join in chats, and put in your own 2 cents, because this is some... There's no better way to put it than I can, without swearing, to prove through YouTube censors right now, but I really want to swear. I just got to give that timeline before I can do that. But let's start with the larger elephant, which is Vshojo. So, this has been going on for a few years, apparently. And at this point, I believe every single talent behind Vshojo is gone. Everyone. And rightfully so. So, in the case people don't know, yesterday, the largest VTuber, Iron Mouse, announced she was leaving the company that she was involved with, and she brought to light some of the issues, and others have since brought to light more of the issues. But to sum it up, the company basically held her prisoner through guilt, but not only held her prisoner through guilt, but held her finances prisoner, and worst of all, held the payment to a charity that Iron Mouse helped grow, the amount of $500,000. Now, the good news I can give right now is that in 24 hours, more than that has been raised in name of Iron Mouse for this stuff. But the bad news is Iron Mouse is going to have to go into a legal case and have the one thing that she didn't want done, which is she's going to have her name discovered, because that's the way the U.S. law works. She can't have anonymity, which was what she really needs. For someone in her medical condition, she needs privacy. She does not need people, both in her and fandom, or in of no good concepts, coming to her door. She doesn't. She needs to be, healthy and protected as much as she can. And when we talk about industry, it's one of the great things that every now and then you hear, Hollywood or TV shows and be like, and a lot of other people be like, oh, well, the evil corporations. This is an evil corporation. This is an example of the evil corporations. Because what Vshojo has done here is absolutely 100% evil. There is no ands, ifs, or doubts about it being evil. You withhold money from charity, and not just any charity, a charity for people who are dying. This is a medical charity. The Immune Deficiency Fund is the charity. I'm not gonna hide it. I mean, we shouldn't hide it. We should absolutely promote it. The Immune Deficiency Fund helps people, especially helps people with immune deficiencies, which basically means their body cannot fight off diseases well, if at all. Iron Mouse herself suffers from immune deficiency. She's had to be dependent upon this charity herself in the past. She, since becoming as popular as she has made it her goal to help this charity. And for the heartless, and I mean ignorance and heartlessness is the only excuse here. And the ignorance is only going to go so far from what is just greed and just corruption. The heartlessness to take from a charity what has been raised is just absurd. And as we go through tonight and as we talk about the subject, I'm going to be going into a thing that most people don't really... Well, some people have been talking about, not too many people. When you're independent versus when you're going into the industry. So, I'm an independent artist. I've always been an independent artist since the days I came out of college, which was, gosh, well, I mean, I can tell you exactly how many days. We're in 2025. I graduated in 2000. So, the days since then, it was always a concept of, oh, well, are you going to go work for, so-and-so comic company, like Marvel or DC or whatnot? I learned how those companies treated their employees. I learned how people got paid. And I came to my own self-conclusion years ago that I would not sit down and work with a company unless they treated me as a proper employee of the company, which is something we'll go into and why Vshojo does not treat these VTubers as employees, because then they'd be violating the law in the United States plus in California. Well, they're still violating the law, but they'd be violating a law that would get them not only shut down but federally thrown in jail. Right now they're just being scumbags. But when you go into the industry, basically you agree to a few things. Now, in the VTuber industry, it's a little different than, say, in the publication industry or the production industry. In the production industry or the publication industry, what you create while you're under contract usually is contracted to the studio you work for, or to whoever you work for. So if I were to create, a story that would make millions of dollars, it would be the company owned, not me. So that's one of the reasons, no, I'm independent, I'm going to do it myself. In the case of VTubers, they get to keep their IP, which is good, at least in the Vshojo. And other groups like HoloLive, which when we had the graduation of Galguro recently that we covered on stream, Gura was not able to retain the license to Gura because Gura was created by HoloLive. She's back on stream. She's doing very well on stream as Saba. And so we have a situation here where you have someone who couldn't hold their license to now the Vshojo talent, which they do get to maintain their license. So they can up and just quit, and that's exactly what Kaysan did this morning. She essentially just said, I came into this, I have the right to quit in my contract, and yeah, screw you all, I quit. And they can do that. Now, the disadvantage is the financial stuff. And this is what really is the nastiness of Iron Mouse's situation. But not only hers, as we find out that most of the talent has not been paid since September of last year. We are in July of 2025. They have not been paid since September. And the excuse is well, they don't have the finances. When what's been let out and known by some people is it's not that they don't have the finances, it's they have someone who's a complete and total moron running the finances. And either through corruption or just complete incompetence is spending the money hand over fist, giving to the employees. Note, the employees are not the talent. The employees, their payment, because they have to legally, by the United States law, they have to pay the employees. You cannot do that. In fact, it's by international law, I believe. But that means, as a contractor, hey Iris, how's it going? As a contractor, which is what typically a talent brought on for something, if I was brought on to do like a book or something, I'd be a contractor, I wouldn't be a employee. And that's the problem. If you're brought on as a contractor, they don't have to pay you anything, technically. You'd have to go to court and fight them, and companies do this. This is a scummy active thing they do, and that's exactly, essentially what Vshojo's kinda done to its talent. They're not paying their talent, so the people that bring them the money, they're not paying. And instead, they're, I don't know, spending it on crap that probably should be seriously looked into by the government. And I call on it to be. I mean, that's absolutely absurd that they're not paying the people that make them the money that they need or they operate from. So it's the dumbest thing you can do. And then to make matters worse, you don't pay a charity that you raised funds for. That is just criminal and flat out evil, in my opinion. And at this point, I mean, like I said, there is no talent left at Vshojo as of this moment. They have all quit, rightfully so, because they see what is so wrong with this. And I mean, to say, oh hey, these they could always just get new talent. These were some of these were their founding members, including Mouse and including Melody. They were founding members of Vshojo. This company was founded on them. Mouse was and is one of the biggest draws in VTubers. And just the sheer corruption is just absurd. Now, a lot of what they're saying they can't talk about through legally binding contracts. We can all, make assumptions and whatnot. But when we look into this situation and how scummy this is, it goes to show that the VTubing industry, or companies, VTubing companies, not the industry, when they came about in 2020, they basically just formed and kind of just made an entire industry out of nothing. And that's when you had your HoloLives, your Niji Sanjis, and your Vshojos. And thus, it was ripe for talent abuse, and that is very much is what is happening here. In fact, let's get started with the first part here. I'm drawing a little bit of witching as we go. I probably actually need to fix that eye because she's supposed to be looking down. But we're gonna let the first part of this. I'm gonna not speak. I'll cut in and whatnot and talk about a few things. But I'm gonna let Mouse speak because she deserves to. Ah, I hate the fucking ads. All right, I'm gonna mute the ads, but I'm gonna turn up the application. Okay. Okay, let's. I gotta mute the application while I do this. All right. So, CIVID. CIVID is a relatively frequent form of primary immune deficiency found about 1 in 25,000 persons, and this is the reason it's called a common. The degree of type of deficiency of the serum immunoglobulins, immunoglobulins, that's what it is, immunoglobulins, and the clinical course varies from person to person, hence the word variable. An additional characteristic is decreased by the IgA and the IgM level of or the low level of all three major types of immunoglobulins, IgG, IgA, and IgM. Some individuals, there are defects of the T cells. This may also contribute to increased susceptibility to infections as well as autoimmune granulomatous disease and cancer. So, yeah, I apologize for mistranslating that or misreading that. Science words that, yeah, I don't usually speak, so I'm not common with them. Needless to say, we used to call this when I was growing up as the bubble person. There's a famous episode of Seinfeld called The Bubble Boy. He would have the common variable immune deficiency. That is what Mouse has. I don't remember which one she has exactly. But basically, it's not been until recently that she could walk again. And that's only through a lot of training and a lot of help and a lot of where she has to spend a lot of her money just to live a somewhat normal life. I'll let her speak some more. So, for those who don't know, I started VTubing in 2011 when I had pretty much started. I was at a job, it was being a little crappy, and I had a lot of people in my art community kind of approach me and be like, hey, you should stream. And I was like, well, I don't mind coming on and streaming and doing art and whatnot publicly, but there are rules and whatnot, and I don't have the equipment. Well, I got the equipment that year in 2021, and I started to do it, and I was like, well, I'm going to stream. I don't want to do my have my face out there. So I mean, very much anonymity is the reason why most people VTube. Now, since then, I've been on stream several times with my face exposed. Typically, on when I'm on a podcast and whatnot, I do not get to use the avatar. Um, you see me as I am, and I try not to hide my face at that point. But when, in some cases, with Melcy, they need the anonymity, man. They need it. Uh, and to hear how this breaks her, it just really does. Hey, buddy, love your streaming content. So you kick, which you come on, Spot, get out of here, go away. Okay, let's get back. Fuck off, Ad. Jeez. All right, I'm gonna mute this. All right. Okay. Back to it. Okay. So this is where I'm gonna bring a different kind of advice. I'm gonna bring some mental advice. This shows how much of a victim Mousy is. She wants to work for the staff. She wants to be. She's guilted into this working for the staff and all this. In a job, everybody talks about, hey, job. You're a part of a team. You gotta work. You gotta work and whatnot. You're not there for them. This is where being selfish is important. It's not always. I mean, being selfish is bad in some ways, but this is the good kind of selfish. And for Mousy to feel this way about letting people down because she is working here, or doesn't want to leave and hurt these people that are in the business, she is the important one, especially when you're the talent. If you go with any brand of thing, if you're a talent, if you're an actor, if you're a singer, if you're a writer, if you're an artist, if you're a VTuber in this case, the talent is the one that matters. It always should be that way. And Vshojo destroyed that. They destroyed the trust Mousy had. And trust is a hard thing to get back when it's damaged. It really is. I speak a lot from that experience. My last job, I trusted that job. I lost it. I was out sick, and the next day they told me I'm fired. No reason given, just I'm fired. And it gutted me. And I haven't really talked about it to people. Because trust hurts. It really does. But one hurt cannot cause you to give up on trust. And you can hear in this response from Mouse that she is broken. She is broken. So she goes on. I'm not going to play the whole thing at this point. Very much this is Mouse's campaign. I do suggest everyone go and watch this video for one good reason. They are basically, Mouse has acknowledged that this video, all the proceeds of this video will go to the Immune Deficiency Fund. Everything that she makes off of this is going to the Immune Deficiency Fund. But it's not stopping there. This is the current count. Vshojo denied this and charity $500,000. Right now they're at $631,000 and rising. I hope by tomorrow this is over $1 million. For everybody who's been screwed by their job, screwed by an industry, this is what it should be for. Vshojo is flat out criminal at this point. So, I'll put the music back on. We don't really need any more of the audio. If it came in, I understand it may have been quiet. It looks like it was quiet after I turned off my air conditioner. And I feel maybe the app is not working the best. So, it's still in beta with freaking Steam. I don't know why it gives me problems with that, but hey. Rebellion is low alive, I think. Yeah. It is, Irish, but I mean, her voice is soft and high-pitched, so it's also kind of low all the time anyway. But, I mean, that's how, I mean, honestly, to talk, I mean, that's how the immunity disease she has affected her voice. When she started streaming, she said she was worried she'd never have the use of her voice again. And for those who don't know, Mousy was an acclaimed, potential, well-known opera singer voice. When she went in there, she had an operatic voice that was star level, and she still sings. Her voice has been getting better. She's not been getting as damaged, but there are times that she has to take moments away and be like, hey, I'm not feeling well, or, she's got to take her medicine on stream. And this, I think it was for the first 2 years, she didn't let anybody know was something that was going on with her. It wasn't really until Sea-Dog VA came into play and that she came out about this, and rightfully so told her audience, she's like, yeah, this is how I suffered. She is practically bedridden all the time. And to live, that's not a way to live life at all. Doesn't matter, you know. I can tell you, having had nerve damage, I was bedridden for a week. I was freaking stir crazy. I could not get out of the bed without somebody assisting me because I could not move. Now, my own health issues, you know, are nothing to Mouse's. I have a bit of an immune problem in my own life, which causes a lot of my diseases, but my diseases are chronic, that's built over time and always causing my immune system to act. Luckily, it's strong. I can go out. I can enjoy the days. Mouse can't. And so there's a large population of audience that knows this of Mouse, and this is why the VTubing community is so defensive of her. It's not just the VTubing community, a lot of community. A lot of the streaming community gets it. There are some assholes out there who don't understand the issue, or just want to be completely just hateful because they're hateful people. And ironically, they're the same people that also go after Saba, formerly Gura, because she's petite. Now, Gura can go out and about, or Saba this time. But Mouse can't. Well, she started going out anyway. She started being able to go out anyway. But, yeah, the fact that this happened, the fact that this industry of VTubing is just completely filled with assholes with the company when it comes to corporations. Because we talked about this a little bit with Nisanji when they happened. We talked about Cinder case earlier this year, and that was more of a private VTuber company, meaning it was a company owned by the VTubers, run by the VTubers, and Cinder kind of, yeah, that was a whole mess, and still is. And now we have to add Vshojo to that list. I mean, technically, Hololive's no better. While Nijin Sanji and Vshojo have gotten this, I guarantee you what we haven't learned about Hololive is that they're the same. This is why it pays to be independent. When I started Demon Blade, when I started Demon Blade 2015, the first issue took a little while because it had to be pushed and promoted to some publishing companies, because we were going to publish. The intention of 2015 going into it was for it to be published. I'll call up the studio, Oni Press. I sent the information to Oni Press. They are considered an independent comic company. And about 2 weeks later, I got an insulting rejection. I mean, insulting rejection. All it was pretty much them laughing and telling me, hell no. And it was because they did not like the concept at all. And what the concept was, so those who don't know what Demon Blade is all about, it's not about demons, it's not about sword making, it's about finding forgiveness in yourself. Or finding forgiveness in others. Finding ways to accept how you've been hurt in the world. And Oni Press didn't want that. Now, I'm sitting here laughing because I'm still here. Oni Press is going down. Because they're an absolute shit show. They wanted only comics that showed an agenda. And it showed. And because of that, I still have the rights to my content, which I'm glad I do at this point. And I will never sign a contract with a company that I do not have the rights to. Now, I'm publishing, and I don't get much out of my publications. So, my rate on Amazon, because you're going to have a cost from the company that has to make the publication. You have to have a cost from the company that sells it. In this case, it was Amazon that sells it, and they also make it. And you gotta have a cost for you, because you're making the comic, or making the book, or making the thing. Amazon has two ways to get money off of it. You can go a 70-30, which is your average rate, or you can go a 50-60. Now, the 50-60, or not 50-60, 50-40, with 10% going to the printing. I go with 70-30. That's my deal with Amazon. Amazon takes the 70. I do not get the 70. I get the 30. Now, most people would be like, "Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible." Amazon gets it. Amazon is the marketer. Amazon is the seller. Amazon is the publisher. That's why it's 70-30. Otherwise, it's just me, the creator, with no way to publish. On my books, I make, if I'm lucky, about the equivalent of a McDonald's menu right now. Trip. A month. That's what I make about a month from them. It's not enough to me even to clear on taxes. It really isn't. But I'm not in it for the money. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're not into it." I'm not into it for the money. I'm in it to bring me attention, that brings me contracts, that brings me work, which brings me money. At which point I make the money and I get a lot. There's a reason why I have a high commission rate, and the reason why is because I do a lot of work that would be free, or that's free. Like our dribble draw, like here on Dribble Draw, we do the second half. We do requests. Tonight you'll see 2 requests, because the requests tonight are very simple, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get 2 of these done tonight. So where I make my money is my commissions. Now, I could have an entire month, in fact, I had last month, where I made a total of $40. To say I'm destitute is not, comic industry work is not a profitable industry. I'm gonna flat out tell you that. If you have a dream to be like this grand cartoonist with this amazing story, and you're gonna do the next Spider-Man, Jack Kirby died a poor man. Let's put it that way. And if you don't know who Jack Kirby is, then you don't know Marvel. Lee made a lot of money because, one, he was a publisher, he was the face of Marvel, he was the CEO. And while I have a lot of respect for Stan Lee, any artist worth their salt, any penciler, any cartoonist worth their salt, knows what he did for Kirby was scum. It was. He ripped off Kirby. That doesn't mean he wasn't a nice guy. But Kirby deserved a lot more for what he's done for the industry. So, those who don't know, a lot of modern comics, a lot of the industry, be it here in the US or be it in movies and television, with any of the Marvel properties, some of the DC properties, I mean, there would not be a Thanos without Kirby. There would not be a Fantastic Four with that movie coming out without Kirby. Basically, the talent is out, or the industry is out there to screw you. It's always going to be the case. It's why people have agents. Last stream I talked about work that I was slated to go for and work with Uber that never came through. I was working with an agent at that time. So it's like I can't speak, I can't tell, what's going on here, what's going to be done. It literally came down to they were going to pay me equivalency of about $20 a page. I charge $50 a page, but I was willing to take that hit for an industry job because it gets your name out there, it gets you more work. When you go into the concept of, doesn't hurt the talent, yes, you gotta make those negotiations, you gotta work on those. And so, I come in with my high ball, but I have to negotiate my low. Now, if you're a person watching this and you're like, hey, I want to get a commission, I want to come in with a low ball, I'm going to tell you immediately, no. Because unless you're a company that I know, that I can recognize, that can give me work that I know I can use in my portfolio and stay. Because I've gotten screwed before over this. I used to work for a sign company. And I'm using a sign company loosely when I talk about these people. Because it got ugly with them. Pretty much almost police got involved. I got hired by this couple that ran the sign company. The agreed upon rate was $13 an hour for me to do graphic design work for them. I got paid $11 an hour. Now, thing is I was hired to do web design. Well, when I got hired, no, they didn't want me for web design. They wanted me for something else and web design. And it's like, okay. I put up with it for a few weeks. As it came to be more and more, they did not know what they wanted. They didn't even know what they were running as a company. They basically ran a sign job business, a makeup business, a dog treat business, a clothing business. You getting the hint there? They're running like 15 different businesses. None of them are turning a record profit. None of them are succeeding. The only one succeeding at the moment, because it's election year, is the sign business. They brought me in to help make a marketed, shopping space for their dog treats. We would fight over how to describe the treats. We would come up with a design, and we're like, yeah, that's cool, that we're going with this design. And they'd be like, no, we're not going with that design. And for the life of me, I spent 3 months working on this damn dog treat box. And I have it on my my own website the images of it because I hate it, and it was not approved later on. They completely changed the style and everything as they went, and they basically used me. And it got to the point where they started cutting my hours because they didn't want to deal with me, because they knew, hey, we owe this person money, we're not paying them, and the work that they're giving us, we don't want. And so basically, they just kind of screwed me out of payment. And they got me down to the point where I was working 2 hours a week. 2 hours a week. It would cost me more to drive there than work. And I ultimately had to quit because they refused to fire me. Because they knew if they fired me, they'd have to pay unemployment. Now, their wonderful business, to my knowledge, is no longer in business. If it is, then somebody is stupid to keep that damn place open. They screwed me out of a lot of money. And they are a great example of an industry that screws the talent. Now, mind you, they still used the website I created after I was gone. Didn't pay me for the website, but they still used it. And when you talk about, going through and building a website and whatnot, and doing all that, it was a lot of frustrating hours and days. And when we talk about the VTubing, and let's go in here, let's get to the other parts of the story. So we got the Tilt Pod, we did the Mal HC, we'll come back to Stephen Colbert later. This is, or was, Gucci was the Japanese CEO in name and title only, mind you, for Vshojo. He quit today. You don't quit in Japan. You have a job pretty much for life in Japan. But Vshojo is a California company. They did not pay, or they paid him. He got paid, but he was trying to get the talent to get their pay. And they kept refusing. And they'd pay him, and he'd do everything in his power to try and stop it and make sure the talent was getting paid. They weren't. Gucci went on stream with K-San this morning. And they both quit at that moment. This was K-San basically coming out and saying, we quit. And I'm glad to see a lot of other talent and staff have done this. Whoever's in charge of Vshojo, in the end, their ass is going to jail. There's no doubt in my mind their ass is going to jail. Let me see here. Let's go to the news articles here. So, Newsweek had this today. Twitch star VTuber Iron Mouse has announced she's parting ways with Vshojo and VTuber Talent Agency, which was formed in 2020. In a video shared on YouTube, Iron Mouse alleges that she was misled over finances by Vshojo, and that the charity Immune Deficiency Foundation is also owed funds. Why it matters. Iron Mouse, who is a public-facing as an anime virtual avatar, is one of more than well-known VTube stars in the world. She is the top VTuber. maybe you could argue a few others are, top elsewhere in the world, but Mouse is respected as the top VTuber. The Puerto Rican Twitch star has over 1.3 million subscribers on YouTube and 2.3 million followers on Twitch. That stuff, yeah. In 2024, she became the most subscribed Twitch streamer of all time, before later being surpassed by Kai Cenat. Kai and her still kind of go back and forth with who's on the top, and it's they have no heart loss between each other on there. They respect each other. Kai's fans maybe not, but she has raised awareness of philanthropy of immune disorders, herself being a common variable of immune deficiency. What to know? VTubers are virtual YouTube content creators who use computer-generated avatars for videos or live streams. VTubers are known for the avatars rather than their real-life identity. In July 21st, 2025, Iron Mouse shared the video on YouTube that says, "Why I Left Vshojo." As of press time, this video has been viewed, and they said 8,000. It was over 1 million when we played it. Vshojo is an American talent agency based in San Francisco that is focused on promoting VTuber content creators. And this is where the video should be. It's not there. The video begins with Iron Mouse saying, "I am leaving Vshojo." Iron Mouse then says, "Recently found out the past couple of months that I have been misled by Vshojo. With the information that I currently have, I believe I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid," she alleges in the video. Iron Mouse continues to say that most importantly that this hurts me most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is most important charity to me, and is also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000. Newsweek has not been able to independently verify this campaign. It can be verified, folks. It was a live stream. It can be verified. An Immune Deficiency Foundation spokesman told Newsweek over the email, "Our ongoing relationship with Iron Mouse is both long-standing and transparent. Each time she hosts the fundraising activity, she has done so with care to ensure the contributions are handled responsibly. She has been steadfast in her genuine commitment to supporting our organization and mission. It is very important to me to be honest with you," Iron Mouse says in the video, adding, "I really want to tell you everything, but unfortunately right now I am instructed by my attorney to wait for more legal procedure to unfold, but one day I will be able to tell you the full story." She says in her video, "I became a VTuber because I wanted to make friends. I was lonely due to the fact that I have primary immune deficiency disease called CIVID." And a 2023 blog post from the Immune Deficiency Foundation details the fundraising made by Connor Callahan, who is known as CDogVA and is a friend of Iron Mouse for the charity. These efforts include a charity bike ride and an online auction. The charity bike ride alone for the last 2 years has raised $1 million each year. Just the bike ride. Iron Mouse has discussed these funds efforts in her video. It says, "Connor and I have both spent a ton of time and energy raising and resources raising the money for the charity." She adds, "We almost raised the money for Immune Deficiency Foundation." After the post she posted on YouTube, Iron Mouse posted on X, "To my community, I love you all dearly and thank you." That post has been viewed 7 million times as of reporting. Iron Mouse is not the only talent to leave Vshojo as of this year. Latara Karen, Giga, Zentreya have all announced that. Alright. Let's go through some of the list of the industry individuals. So, Ksat, Fruit, Melody, Zentreya, Payapu UFO. I'm not familiar with Paya, but I'm sure a lot of people have. Outside of Zentreya, All of these were today. All of them. On top of all the others. So, Silvervale and, gosh, who am I forgetting? Gosh, I know I'm forgetting more. I know I'm forgetting more from the agency. The entire agency. At this point, it's the entire agency. Everybody in Vshojo, talent-wise, is gone. Vshojo rightfully needs to be... The people that ran this, the people that handled the money, their asses need to be in jail for fraud. Right then and there, it needs to go for fraud. If the government isn't already looking into this, which, by the way, I have no doubt at this point with the publicity of this, that the government's looking into this, that they should be held for fraud. Absolutely 100%. This is a case where the industry has screwed the talent. The second half of this part of the topic, and we're going to talk about how the talent screwed the industry. So we're going to be talking about Colbert at this next point. You can see a little bit of lyrics I'm working on here, but yeah, the Vshojo stuff and crap is still going on. I just want to kind of see what... Okay, it's a notification from Fox. We don't really need that up. We'll be back and talk about Colbert here. Now, I will talk a little bit of how I feel with Colbert. I would say I never found Colbert funny. The only stuff I've ever found Colbert funny in was Harvey Birdman, Attorney-at-Law, and the Venture Brothers. And even in the Venture Brothers, I felt his character was just crap. He basically was Mr. Fantastic in the Venture Brothers, but I think they call him Mr. Incredible. Ironically, when Disney had the Incredibles. But I never found the man funny. I still don't find the man funny. I don't see how many people say he's funny. He came out of... I think his notoriety came about from Strangers with Candy, which I didn't find funny. Other people did when it was on. But he also made himself a name for himself from his time at The Daily Show. Back when The Daily Show was on its second host, which was Jon Stewart, which they're kind of on, but partly, I don't understand with The Daily Show. The Daily Show is crap these days. Jon Stewart's okay and is funny at times, but it's just another freaking news piece that has a bias. That's all it is. It's not funny. It's not humorous as often. It's usually just, let's make fun of the right again, and let's make fun of the right again, and nothing really comes when you have people. I mean, for God's sake, and he just reappeared in media yesterday. Hunter Biden, a crack-smoking, hooker-loving, slept with his dead brother's wife individual. You can't make jokes about that. The dude is the epitome of the redneck, but he's a rich yuppie. I never understood. I never freaking understood it. But that's the way comedy's been for the last couple of years, for the most part. There are comedians that have spoken out against this crap, and a lot of this was based on the whole woke concept of, hey, you need to do all the, you know, this is the way you tell a joke, and oh no, you know, you can't offend this type of person. You can't offend this type of person. I had to inform people, comedy is offensive and meant to be offensive. If you can't take an offensive joke, then maybe comedy's not for you. Now, as someone who, I started my comic work publicly on a comic called Critical View. Most of the jokes in Critical View were me making fun of myself. And it'd be stupid stuff. It'd be like, oh, I go outside, I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, and I'd do one strip where, or one page where it was, you know, I draw a bunch of mosquitoes, but I threw in the honeybee from Honey Nut Cheerios and Mr. Mosquito, because it was Mr. Mosquito was a thing at the time, which was a PlayStation game. And I had the two of them. I had them say, "You smell that? It smells interesting. It smells like blood." And I just, you know, make the word blood all, you know, nasty and whatnot. And the next thing you just see me run, my persona in the comic, running away from hordes and hordes of mosquitoes and bees. It's a joke, mind you. That one's very true. I get eaten alive. Apparently they like freaking. I've learned recently mosquitoes like O positive blood. Well, pretty much O blood in general. So O negative probably also has the problem. But they really like O blood, and I'm an O blood. A universal donor. Even though I suffer from issues with my own blood that would make me not someone to donate. Yeah, I can't donate blood. Combination of my health and a combination of having stuff like iron deficiencies. Not a good idea to take blood from someone with an iron deficiency. So it sucks that I can't donate blood. I donated it once before I knew what type of blood I was. And the moment I donated the blood, I only donated like a pint, which is like the minimum you can donate. And this was like right after 9/11. And I was like, yeah, I'll donate blood. I almost fainted after getting up from like half an hour after just donating one pint, because that's when we learned, okay, you have a blood disorder that might cause you problems. And in my case, it wasn't really a blood disorder. It would come to be found out it was my gastroparesis that makes a lot of vitamins and nutrients in my body not be digested. And so it causes me an iron deficiency, it causes me issues with fiber. I honestly debated about doing the stream a little bit in my mind today, because I am on pain meds immensely right now, because of the gastroparesis. But because of the Vshojo, or Vshojo issue, I could not. When you have someone like Mouse who suffers far worse than me, putting in her effort, I gotta do it. You know, I can't not come on here. So I'm right now, I've taken pain pills right before stream, and I'm gonna probably take some more right after stream. It honestly hurts to sit in my case, because my I'm squishing, you know, my stomach sits here. It's right now really bloated, and sitting up kind of hurts, but I need to sit up. And so in order to take care of that, it's like, okay, I need to, you know, manage the pain. I need to be pretty much on a liquid diet. did not have a liquid diet today for lunch or dinner. I had one for lunch and breakfast, but dinner was some avocado toast because I wanted something a little easier on my stomach than soup. You get tired of soup when you have soup all the freaking time. But I made the avocado toast like at 6. I ate it all by about 7:30. It took me an hour and a half to eat that toast. And I'm someone who grew up in school and whatnot with the concept of you got 20 minutes to get your food, eat your food, and get back to class. And it's like, gee. So I've always been a fast eater until I got this diagnosis, and it's like I gotta take my time and just eat small meals throughout the day, or just sort of like munch on something throughout the day. It sucks. It sucks. But I mean, it's stuff to suffer through and deal with. And all this comes from the concept of telling a comedic joke. So let's get back to the story. In the case of Colbert. Colbert got the show because he was mimicking O'Reilly. For those who don't know, O'Reilly was a Fox News commentator that was the top show in the evenings to watch. And I think it was like come 2016, 2017, somewhere around when Trump, well, maybe even before. Let's see here. I don't know when he started the damn show. Let's see. I can't even see. Oh, 2018, the network. Well, no, I don't know when it started. He started hosting it. But, he took over Dave Letterman's spot. Now, mind you, Letterman was a good late night host, and he did the show for most of his time there relatively well. He went a little offbeat towards the end, and he's still a little crazy now, if you ask me. But when I grew up, late night was Johnny Carson. There was no comparison. Letterman was on too. Letterman was comedic, and then eventually Conan came in, and Conan was pretty good. Was really good with his position. I still say Conan's pretty good. But the concept of the late night show was to have a variety, have a little fun, poke fun at all sides, and be entertaining. That was the key, is be entertaining. Somewhere along the election of Trump the first time, it quit being about entertainment and started being about nothing but bash the right. Just bash the right. And, well, you're alienating 1/2 of your population. So, right there, any viewership that is gonna tune in is already alienated. A large chunk of your viewership. You add to that stupid crap that Colbert has done over the years. The one everyone likes to talk about is the 2020. I guess it was in 2020. It was either 2020 or 2021. I don't know which year it was exactly, but it would have been early 2021. Actually, it would be 2021 because the vaccine came out in 2021. He did the vaccine, which is one of the stupidest moments in television history. For those who, well, I mean, everybody at this point, if you're watching, you probably were alive during this crap. Unless you're 5, at which point, or under, and I apologize, you know, hey, you shouldn't be watching this stream if you're that young. We are not a child, this is not a child-friendly stream. But when we talk about Colbert and his vaccine, we don't really pay attention to the concept that it was propaganda. 100% propaganda. Now, a lot of people think they know what propaganda is. They're like, oh, well, you're just listening to one-side news and that's propaganda. It's like, no, you don't really know what propaganda is. Propaganda was essentially created by the Nazis. It was a way to emphasize and promote, you know, a cause, an industry, and edge people into doing something by acknowledging something the government wants, usually, to the audience. Now, it can be outside sources, it can be something else that was propagandized. The Got Milk ad was a propagandized concept of the dairy industry. It worked, but yeah, you didn't need to drink milk. It was a propaganda tool that the government, the American Dairy Farmers Association, produced. The anti-smoking ads, and my god, do I hate most of those. I'm not a smoker, I am an asthmatic, and I don't agree with smoking. But what I don't want to see is some idiot going around licking trash cans. That is by far the most gross commercial I've ever seen in my life. And they played it continuously for years. Another one that I remember of propaganda was, you wouldn't steal a car, so why would you steal a movie? And that was one of the dumbest craps ever. By the movie industry. So those are examples outside of government propaganda. The Nazis used propaganda, the Americans used propaganda in World War II. We continue to use propaganda in positive ways to help with military recruitment. That's notable. They did piss poor job the last 4 years, but they're doing a better job now because the recruitment's up. You use propaganda basically to get people to come and do something. The vaccine was rushed through. It's one of the things I really did not like Trump doing during his first term. I stood against what he did there. But, and you guys get to see some stuff that's being worked on. I guess I don't have a single page that's got color on Ida. So let's bring that up so I can color. The propaganda that went on with Colbert and that with the vaccine, we were told that you needed to get the vaccine. You had to get the vaccine. And it got to the point where people were losing jobs if they did not get the vaccine. I was forced to get the vaccine. I knew I was going to have a problem, and I was still forced to get the vaccine once. After I got it the first time, I had nerve damage because I had an inverse reaction. I was allergic to it. It started to close up my throat and caused me breathing problems. And then 2 days later, I had nerve damage. We did not have the time to test the vaccine. And one of the things that Trump did, and it's Trump doing this, Biden did not help this at all either, was basically gave a free pass to damn drug manufacturers at the time. Just make it, produce it, get it out there, and we won't hold anything against you for what you did. with making it. These days, a lot of people have had health conditions, have had heart conditions, have had nerve conditions. Myself included. My brother had cerebral palsy. Or not cerebral. I'm trying to remember which one. Not cerebral palsy. Whatever the nerve damage is to their face. My brother had some of that happen to him. And they were discovered, hey, it's on the vaccine. Well, the government didn't want to hear it. And they made the whole idea just like, you can't say it's the vaccine, and YouTube didn't want to hear it at the time. And all other monitoring, it was unthinkable. How dare you? I couldn't get certain jobs because I couldn't get the vaccine again. At that time, I lost my job because of the nerve damage I had. Because I was working a job that required heavy lifting. I still to this day cannot carry things heavily because of the nerve damage I have. Half of my body, I mean, to this day, the worst thing is the last 3 toes of my foot will not move at all. I have to physically grab them and move them if I want to move them. I can't scrunch them. I can't do anything with them. They are completely, basically just dead limbs on my body. And people like Colbert promoted this vaccine and made it, basically bullied people into the concept of like, if you don't get the vaccine, you're destroying this world. And in the years since, we've learned a few things. One, the youth did not need to get the vaccine. Anyone under the age of 60 did not need to get the vaccine. Because they were primarily immune to COVID. Either by their body being able to fight it. I mean, some people still at risk. Yes, some people were at risk from COVID. But a majority could get natural immunity. Like any cold, like any fever, your body will create antibodies that'll fight it off. With me, it's a little harsher on me because I have asthma, I have health issues already. My immune system's already compromised. If it was Mouse, she'd be dead. If she got COVID, she very easily could be dead if she got it. I don't know. She might have had it since and been able to survive it or not. But when this came about, we had them push immensely that you had to get the vaccine. You had to get the vaccine. You had to get the vaccine. And the worst was Colbert coming out with these tap dancing atrocities. I mean, there's no way of really to call them anything. Tap dancing crap of needles going and being like, you need to get the vaccine. Gotta get vaxxed. Yep. Don't listen to the people that are saying don't get vaxxed. Don't listen to the doctors. Don't listen to the people that are saying, hey, this is not a good idea. They're all wrong. Why they're wrong? Because we tell you they're wrong. That's how it came about. There was no room for a critique. There's no room for a final argument. And Colbert was one of those people that 100% stood by this crap. Let me fix something. I think my mic is a little off. There we go. Nope. I guess it's just my headphones. There we go. A little bit now. Still. Well. But when we talk about Colbert, and we'll get to Colbert here in a second here. When we talk about Colbert, he only attacked the right. That was what he was when he was Comedy Central. That's when he was when he got this position. He was only going to attack the right. That's all he ever was going to do. So you alienate half your viewership, and then you preach, talk the other half, and people are starting to be like, this is dumb, this is stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. And you get the audience out there. I'm going to try and fix the mic one more time. Hold on, this is annoying me. There we go. A little bit better. When we talk about Colbert doing this stuff, and in some sense, people will be like, "Hey, yeah, sure, that works. That absolutely works in the industry. You can do that, as long as you still have an audience." Well, here's the thing. During this time, what they weren't looking at, and what most news media these days and age don't pay attention to, the world went away from common television. Antennas were a thing of the past, mostly. Cable was incredibly expensive and pointless, and streaming was a thing. So people like me cut the cord. Now, I cut the cord of television years before, but people like me cut the cord of television. And shows like Late Night really started to hurt. So let's read what Forbes says is the reason why they canceled. So CBS ending The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is one of the most watched programs in late night television. Incorrect. Right there's the falsehood. One of the most in late night television on natural television, on cable television, not so. On streaming, not so. The cancellation marks the end of the 3-decade franchise anchored by the comedian and political commentator. So why is the network pulling the plug on one of the most successful shows? Another thing, not true. It's not the network's most successful shows. We'll go into this because CBS is Viacom, which is also owned by Paramount. And we'll be going into the real reason. Did I mute? That's probably what's going on. Is damn mic cord's weird. Alright. So, in a statement Thursday, CBS announced The Late Show with Stephen Colbert would be concluded in May 2026. How you put a losing show on like this and keep it on for a year is beyond me, but it's CBS. Who cares? Following the expiration of Colbert's contract, the decision comes as a surprise to many as the show's strong ratings and popularity in late-night lineup. Incorrect. If you only count the basic channels, which are the channels you can still kind of get it if you have an antenna, yes, that's true. But if you put cable on, they are not anywhere near leading. If you put streaming on, they are nowhere near leading. According to the second quarter viewership in data, in 2025, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert led the 11:35 p.m. time slot with the viewers of 2.417 million across 41 first-run episodes. It also, on the late night program, had a viewership increase in the first quarter, rising by 1% in the key 18 to 49 demographic. Now here's the big number, which drew only 219,000 viewers. Now, who's the 2 million? Well, the 2 million is older folks. People that don't want to do streaming, that are more reluctant to go on with cable programs. People in their 60s to 70s to 80s are watching the late night shows. Not younger people, not younger audiences. So anyone from 18 to 50 is not watching this program. That is a huge demographic right there. According to the Late Nighter, citing Nielsen data. So that's Nielsen data. Right there is your problem. Right there. It's buried in this league. The 2.4 million is everybody over 50. CBS said The Late Show with Stephen Colbert's cancellation was purely financial this season against the challenging backdrop in the late night. It had nothing to do with the show's ratings, content, or the broadcaster issuing Paramount. Incorrect. This is why I said it's something we bring up Paramount. Paramount is currently going through a purchase agreement right now with Dreams, what is it? Dream or Dancer Studios or whatnot. Now, as part of that contract, Paramount has to look at where it's making its money. Well, it's making its money, it's been found out, by two things. Two. Over half its viewership are therefore one of two things: sports or South Park. The reason this is important is South Park, the creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker, have been going on a legal dispute over their contract with Paramount. They want out, they want to shop their show onto other stream platforms where they feel they'll get more audience, more income. As of yesterday, what went under the radar hereof, the Dancer contract is still in the negotiations. South Park is getting $150 billion from Paramount in a contract for 5 years. Why? Because it makes them money. Colbert costs them $50 billion a year. Excuse me, 150 million, not 150 billion. 150 million a year. That's still a crappy contract for South Park, considering how much money they bring the company. The Paramount app solely exists because of sports and South Park. That's it. No one goes there for the movies. No one goes there for most of the TV programs, especially Stephen Colbert. New York Times reported the show's cancellation came in a challenging time in the late-night landscape. Not only is the number of late-night programs declining in recent years, with Trevor Noah, James Corden exiting in 2022, that shows even the wonderful show that is The Daily Show, is losing numbers. That's another Paramount property. The Daily Show. Where did Colbert come from? The Daily Show. And Taylor Tomlinson's show ending in 2025. But the genre has faced a steep drop in advertising revenue. In 2018, the network's late shows generated $439 million in ad revenue, according to the guideline. By last year, the figures have fallen to $220 million, ranking 50% decline over the last 7 years. Skydance is the merger, so we're going to get out of it. Now, they're excluding the one show that is succeeding. The one on cable. Greg Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld gets almost double the audience each night that Colbert does. And his show costs a fraction to make. Butt off, bot. Get out of here. There's also wonders whether or not the show's cancellation is connected to the review of Paramount's merger with Skydance, or its recent legal settlement with Trump. Yes, they had to pay Trump $16 million for defamation. Well, not really defamation, by citing and favorably editing Kamala Harris in the campaign and not doing the same for Trump. So it is considered a violation of election law. It's what most people don't seem to understand. They're like, oh, well, Trump got him fired. Trump got him fired because he created Colbert and he got him fired. No. Colbert got his own ass fired. Frankly, I will not be surprised if he keeps pouting and the industry keeps pouting. The Paramount Plus says, fuck it, we're canceling you now. Is now believed the complicated financial situation the sitting governmental official in the technical name of legal circles as its big fat bribe, as Colbert said in his opening dialogue. Really? Colbert said that. You know what a big fat bribe? Paying someone $20 million to host a show that is not making 50. That is the downfall. You want to know why Colbert is losing? You want to know why Jimmy Kimmel is losing? You want to know why Jimmy Fallon is losing? It's because they are rich, entitled assholes. They say only they have the truth, and only they have the meaning. They're not entertaining people, they're dictating to people. Just open your eyes. Late Night was killed when Jay Leno stepped down. Johnny Carson is rolling in his fucking grave at what Late Night has become. It is an out and outright joke. Only person that's treating it like it should be, well, only two people. I will give Conan O'Brien still the benefit because he's been still doing Late Night the way it should be, but I don't know if he's still doing Late Night at this point. And he's on cable because he couldn't keep his show on CBS, which removed him for Colbert. Or actually, it was NBC. Still, it's this kind of crap that goes on. The fact that media has dictated one-sided view, and only that sided view for years, shows why media is downfall. Shows why movies are not succeeding anymore. Shows why no one wants to go and watch the latest comedy show on 8 p.m. on our local channel. The local news is hurting. And why is the local news hurting? It's hurting because of the content around it. People tune in to watch reruns of shows that ended years ago. Over what is made these days. In my opinion, it's time for the big three to die. And I think they are dying. And there's one thing that nobody's been really talking about. When Trump came to office this latest time, one of the things they found was industries, including the big three, were getting payments from USAID. USAID is no longer paying out. How much you want to bet USAID was holding together these shows? How much you want to bet that without that money, they cannot continuously do a program that chases off half the audience they would receive in the United States. I welcome the destruction of some of this media. I really do. Disney's long needed a kick in their ass. And I am glad to see other studios out there getting things. Independent studios getting out there. There was a notification a few weeks ago, and I'm sure I've talked about it before, that anime watching has surpassed sports. More people watch anime than sports now. Why? Because it's an industry that's telling us programs and telling us good stories that is not bogged down by the crap of Hollywood. I used to watch late night TV shows. I watched David Letterman when he was still fighting Jay Leno at the time, at the big time of the night, you know, the big night shows going on at the time. And then, of course, you had Conan O'Brien. But what late night television is now is just crap. Utter, total crap. And just to believe it, here's this LA Times article. What Stephen Colbert cancellation says about the future of television. Well, I'll sum up what LA Times says here. It's Trump being censorship, which is utter bullshit. The president hasn't made an order to a company to destroy themselves. Here's Fox covering it, and they're the only ones that point out that Greg Gutfeld is better than them all combined in his viewership. I listened to Tectone today talk about this on one of his program, or one of his stream rants, in between the Vshojo, and he pointed out that Gutfeld, actually, I don't know if it was Tectone, it might have been somebody else. The point was that Gutfeld could be produced 20 times over for the cost of a single year of Colbert. 20 times. The years of reckless, shove it down the face activism are coming to an end, which is I'm glad. I am so glad. Form your own opinions. Make your own decisions on things, but do not sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, I heard it on the local news or on the major news programs. You know, the big three. I heard on it, and it must be true. Why else would they not, you know, talk about this? We're currently going with the whole Obama condition that happened to drop this past week. The local or the major news networks aren't saying anything about this, or if they are, they're being critical about it. Yet they're completely ignoring the fact that there is physical evidence. They're the same people still promoting the concept that the Russian Gate concept was always truthful. It was not. It's been founded. It was incorrect. It was a violation of election law. It was proven to be fake. That it was created by Hillary Clinton's office to disgrace Trump in 2016. This has been proven now in Congress and by the FBI coming out and stating as such. So the lie that continues to get me told that it's false, or that it's truthful, that Russia had an influence in elections, is a falsehood. Yet the media does not want you to know that. Now, if you actually research and search through the things, which is one of the things I majorly promote people to do in the world, It means go and look in for yourself. Read the articles. Read the disclosures. And you will find out, yes, this is a real thing. Or no, this is a false thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, do not listen wholly to AI telling you. People can easily manipulate AI. If you go in and see a vehement disagreement towards one topic that you know is true, you might find somebody go, "Hey Grok, I need you to say, tell me about this." They don't get the answer they want. "Hey Grok, I think you're wrong. Hey Grok, I think you're wrong." Eventually Grok's going to say, "Yes, you're right." AI is a tool. It is not fact. Search for the fact. In the end, what do we have to talk about at the end of the day here with this subject? Fuck Vshojo. Do your own damn research. Work independently, but work for yourself. I know it sounds selfish, but it's the key to any kind of business that you run. As an independent artist, as an independent creator, as an independent whatever, you are the most important thing. If that means having to take in a second or third job, I know my parents are ecstatic in hearing that. Or having to find another means to make a living. Do it. Do it. I have often regretted points in my life of not doing that. Now, my personal situation right now, I am in discussion because of my health conditions and how they've gotten worse over the years, that I'm probably going to be put on disability because my health has been getting worse. It's not been getting better. And with the gastroparesis, we're talking about multiple times I have to go to if I was working, I could have a day or two where I get flare-ups like I am right now. I cannot physically sit. As I said, it's too painful. I am literally welling up tears of pain as I say these words. And I'm going to push through. I'm going to push through and get the drawings, because I need to get back on schedule with all these drawings. And I have commitments, and I need to do them. But don't expect fully for me to do Friday if my health is still bad. When you face any situation that's hard, and this goes back to Mouse, where you don't feel you can do it on your own, find people you can trust. You will sometimes find scum that abuse and mistreat you like Mouse did, like I've done. And I guarantee you, you'll find people that'll do that to you. But when you find true friends, true people that are there to help, hold the hell on to them. This past week, and going through all my stuff that I've been seeing and whatnot, across my Facebook posts, because Facebook always comes out with the, this in the past, this happened, so many years ago and whatnot. I saw the face of a friend I don't have anymore. We didn't fight, we didn't do anything. He passed away. He had severe diabetes, to the point that there was one point I had to threaten him, where he was he was living at a friend's home, and I had to threaten him, either he's coming out with me or I'm getting the cops to pull him out, because he needed to get to the hospital. He was dying. He didn't realize how bad he was. And a few years later, he did. He died. Because he didn't control his diabetes. He didn't look after himself, his own health. And it hurts us. It really does. When I'm with Brandon and Jacob on Anime Anticlimax or anything else that we do together, you'll hear us talk about him. We miss him. We absolutely miss him. And I do not, to this day, regret fighting to get him to the hospital. Because I sat there until after midnight there. We took him in about 6 in the evening. And the doctors told me that if I waited an hour or two longer, he would have been dead. He was in shock at that point, and he didn't realize it. I made sure my friend at least had a few more years to give us with him. I had nothing at that time. He had nothing at the time. There's nothing to gain other than trust. You will meet many people in your life. I don't care who you are, what avenue you come down. You will meet many people in your life you cannot trust. But when you meet people that you can trust, they will be those that make memories for you. They will be the ones that will cherish, you will cherish for your life. Through the good and the bad, those moments of trust. And you don't have to agree with people. I do not agree with Brandon, and I do not agree with Jacob on their views on things in life. And they don't agree with mine at times. We've had disagreements, but we, hang out and hang with each other because we're friends. We trust each other. We've built that trust. The people in Mouse's case that I feel she absolutely has trust in, Connor, 100%. Every single one of her talents, friends through talent at the agency, 100%. Why? Because she had a problem and they all quit with her. That is trust. Never trust an industry, always trust a person. But with that person and that trust, always be willing to put doubt in it. I absolutely adore and respect Connor for who he is as a person. I don't agree with people that Connor associates with. People like what is his name? Not Tetra. Ludwig and Assigned Piker. They're proving to be scum in many sense of the word, and I hope Connor kind of realizes that. he can continue his friendship all he wants. I have no say in that. But when you have somebody who actively calls for the destruction of people's lives, or in the case of Ludwig, recently feeding into someone's addiction to a not only an unhealthy rate, but a deadly rate. Those who didn't hear what Ludwig did, he held a Mario Kart drunken driving Mario Kart event recently. And one of the people he had at that event was a known alcoholic. That known alcoholic ended up having a 3.2 or a 0.32 blood alcohol content. That is death zone, folks, in alcohol. That means your blood is about 1/3 alcohol. That was a concerning moment. And then the fact that Connor is a big, friends with Hassan. Hassan is probably one of the scummiest people. We've talked about Hassan before on the stream. The dude is actively supporting terrorists. Actively supporting terrorism. And while it's not gotten me to stop watching any of Connor's content, I am more hesitant to watch it. I really am. I also worry about when I see Connor do drinking on stream, because I do feel he takes it a little too far himself. And not in a he's a violent drunk or anything. It's more a matter of, what the health conditions are going to be for him, repercussing on his liver. I understand, hey, you want to drink, you drink. That's fine. Just be aware that alcohol is technically a poison. Just as cigarette smoking is technically a poison. Anything you ingest, sugar and caffeine are poisons. I'm addicted to sugar, I guarantee you. Less so on caffeine these days. But sugar 100%. And as a viewer, yeah, it's a little hard for me to sit there and be like, I think he's doing the right things. He's not. But that's his decision and his decision alone. And that's just as a viewer. Mal C, I think, is doing the right thing in her life. She's doing what she needs to do. She's showing good, positive things. And every person I've talked about today in this first half of the stream, I wish nothing but health for them. Good luck. Well, some of them I don't wish good luck in their futures, but I do wish they at least wisen up to their futures. Myself included. I'm a dumbass. I can easily tell you I'm a dumbass. I've done things that are absolutely stupid, and that has hurt me. And I've done stuff that hasn't hurt me. I talked about some of the things that I have hurt myself with on today's stream. And I leave it to you all to think, hey, is that what you want to see from me? I'm not a big VTuber. I'm not planning to be a big VTuber. I never came into this thinking, hey, I'll be, this big person in the industry. It's not my goal in my life. My goal is to tell stories and entertain. That's what I'm here to do. That's all I'm here to do. I hope you all enjoyed that. If not, maybe you're part of the people that just skip to the actual art drawing in the second half. which, let me do one thing to the coat, and I will switch to. Okay. Alright, you guys can see, I've accomplished one drawing of Ida in Witchin, and not even a full one, but it's work, it's progress. I'm pushing hard on my comics these last few weeks because I gotta meet. I'm behind on deadlines here. So we're trying to get through some things, and at least I'm getting layouts done for Witchin. And Demon Blade's already kind of laid out. I just need to finish up pages for Demon Blade. So I'm gonna close the Witchin pages for now. And I'm going to do the same with the Demon Blade pages that are open that I haven't finished. So, yeah, you see, I haven't finished this page. Or this page, so both of these are still being worked on. So, that being said, I got to explain a few of these. So one is an OC today. The other one is from an artist, and I'm tempted to show the artist, but I want to keep their copyright safe. So this first one we're doing, which is the one that technically would have been set up for this week, is called, they just simply said they wanted me to draw this Danny Elfman lizard. And the reason why it's called Danny Elfman Lizard is because Danny Elfman sung the song. Now, the animation comes from 1987 and is one of the most drug-tripped animations I've ever seen. So it comes from a frog without a face, or with a face or something like that. Let me see if I can find it again here. Frog. Frog like a face, or a face like a frog, or something. Maybe this was it. Yeah. So I'll bring up the talk so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is the character that we're drawing from, reference from. This animation from 1987, from, let me get the artist down so I know exactly who it is. It is by Sally Kruskang. Animated this in 1987. She is an artist that worked on animations for Sesame Street. If Sally wasn't high, I don't know how this animation exists. Because it is one of the trippiest damn things I've watched. I've watched Cat Soup. Which is an anime, for those who don't know. Cat Soup is just a drug trip. I reviewed it with Brandon on another show. I came in as a guest on a podcast, and Brandon brought it up with them as one of the weirdest animes out there, and it's true. It is the only way to describe it is a drug trip. Wish you a good recovery. Thank you, Iris. So, it's an abstract animation. I'm not gonna play it musically, but I'll see if I can show you some of what you're seeing here play is literally the animation. It's very dated. It is very cheap. Very cheap. It reminds me of my days in college. Drawing animation. And I could see it as that. I mean, in college, yes, people did drugs and drew animation. I did not. I will say I did not. I'm a clean-cut person, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. So, I don't really think there's a right or wrong way to draw this guy. Other than he has to have his, like, really slimy smile. And these really trippy eyes. And so, I'm going to bring the drawing back up so you guys can see it. So, I've got a guarantee that I'm getting these eyes in, which have lids upon lids with these cuts for gills, I guess, and this mouth. I kid you not. Frog Like a Face. Check it out if you haven't. It is just a drug trip. There's no other way to put it. It is some trippy 1980s cheap animation work. I did not hear about it until this commission, or this request. So, I didn't even know this was a thing till then. So, we're gonna draw this, but I was like, this is way too simple for a single request. So it's like, I can do this, and I can do, you know, some abstract nonsense for a background with this. But it needs to have something a little bit more, or we need to do something else on top of this. So that's why I'm doing two today. It is strictly the fact that we have this really trippy drug trip creature, lizard, I'm guessing, that was voiced by Danny Elfman. Those who don't know who Danny Elfman is, a big Hollywood talent, music agent, or music person. The most likely thing you've heard him in, Nightmare Before Christmas. He is the voice of Jack Skellington. So you have this very notable musician doing this animation in 1980 set, or being part of this animation, singing a song about don't go in the basement. I stopped after I watched that. I couldn't watch anymore. I was like, what the hell am I watching? When you watch something that's weird and drug trippy, you gotta take it in pieces, man. You gotta take it in pieces, because it's just, it never is gonna make sense unless you digest it in small little pieces. And that's the case with Cat Soup, because Cat Soup, you get into some really effed up things. I can only acquire, if you haven't seen Cat Soup, it's equivalent to the elephants on parade in Dumbo. That's the only thing I can equip it to. That song is probably the trippiest Disney got, and animation-wise. And I mean, it's not unheard of for a lot of industries, a lot of companies. I mean, hell, Scooby-Doo is freaking trippy as hell, too. So, I mean, it's not unheard of to happen that you have these really trippy moments for people. But in my case, I'm going to make him look a little sinister. And the character we're going to do in the second hour of this drawing stream part will be an original character for somebody that somebody had created that we're doing. So we're doing 2 in 1. I am thoroughly trying to look at this image of this freaking lizard to understand what things. So he's got things on his. I gotta fix the eraser tip here. He's got thing. He does have a little nodules on his neck, or the thereof, I guess. I'm guessing that's the neck. The animation quality is not the greatest, and since it's from 1989, its video quality is not the greatest. Or 1987. So, let's see. Looks like he's got a very late 80s shirt on. So, being a child of the 80s and 90s, we wore these trippy shirts. I don't know why the fashion was the case, but we did. I mean, it's pretty much everybody kind of wore it. I'm kind of glad Paisley doesn't really fit for people these days. I know there's some people that'll still go out and wear Paisley, but a lot of people are like, no, Paisley's just never coming back. Which, in my opinion, is a good thing. There was a lot of Paisley. I remember wearing a lot of Paisley in the 80s to 90s. You were an outlier if you wore plaid. And which was like, what? I'm wearing plaid. Now, in the later 90s, plaid was the in thing. And plaid stuck around, so I can't really say anything about plaid. I mean, plaid's been around since the freaking 50s. It's never really going anywhere. But the key here is I need to make this guy look slimy and scummy, because I kind of get that feeling from him from the animation I watched. That he's very much going to be like that used car salesman that's really trying to sell you in on something. Like, hey, I can get you the deal. I can get you that, chrome platinum plating that really keeps you from rusting undercarriage. Yeah. Don't get that, folks. It's a scam. Yeah, I did not do the tail any kind of justice there. All right. It's when you deal with a character that is just meant to be abstract but has some personality, which it does. And like I said, he's very much used car salesman, slimy personality. I can tell from his look and his design, and I do think that the creator of this probably was thinking that with their creation, even if they were high on something. It's just a matter of, what do you do with things when you deal with the absurd, the trippiness. And a lot of it is just, you kind of just let things flow with the motions. The animation really kind of shows that. So if I went back to the animation, so it won't let me go back there, so let's see here. So if I go back to, let's go back to the top. So you see how the motion of the animation is very, it's either 1-2 notes or very weird and transformative and flowing and trippy. And while it works for some entertainment, it doesn't work for a younger audience. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Shows that had this kind of personality were a lot of the 90s kids cartoons that were more cartoony, not the more stiff and structured characters. so stuff like Ah, Real Monsters, Rocko's Modern Life, they had this kind of style to it. And in fact, when I go back to the artwork, what's one of the few things I see pop up if I put in for looking at this, but Rocko's Modern Life. Right here. You're seeing Rocko's moment. We're seeing Space Ghost for some reason. I don't know why Space Ghost is here. They're more structured. Beetlejuice was one of these type of real trippy things. Yeah, there's 2 Beetlejuice right there. So that kind of flowy animation, it still exists today. You'll still find it in some shows, but these days it's not as frequent because for children's shows they kind of want to do something like CGI because they can repeat stuff that's done on CGI to make it cheap and repetitive, and they don't have to go and make really much new stuff, and they can just repeat. And in the past, that's how they would treat these kind of kids shows. And it's stuff like this, and I mean, I'm not gonna say put bad words into it, I mean, but it's stuff like this that kind of made people not understand anime as it came out, because they're like, oh, it's animation, so it's kids stuff, so it's just crappy kids animated shows. And people would see this stuff and they'd be like, well, that's what it is. But they wouldn't look at, Lupin. They wouldn't look at Akira at the time, or Ghost in the Shell, and be like, this isn't for kids. Like, no crap, it's not for kids. Anime still deals with that. And there are laws right now that people try to place and put about that are all about, anime's for children, so it can only be for children. But it's animation. Animation's only for children. Only for children. We can't have it for anybody else. And it flat out ignores the fact that animation is a genre. It's not a style, or it's not how you make a movie just for kids. Animation is not just for kids, it's a genre. And all my life has sort of been a fight for that concept. When I was a kid, it was probably shows like, well, gosh, I mean, I'd have to say the first time it really came up is more The Simpsons. Once The Simpsons started airing, they're like, wait, these aren't for, they're acting outside of what is appropriate for children. And still to this day, modern animation on American television will be forced to follow the standard of it's for children. I remember somewhere in the 90s, I'd say 97 off the top of my head, they tried to pitch animation that was not kids shows in for adults. They try to pitch, and it's where we get stuff like Aeon Flux, The Max on MTV, stuff that was more serious toned. And people didn't take to it. People did not take to it. And the reason they didn't take to it is because they were living in that same concept where animation is only for kids. Animation, that's what they kept repeating, and they still repeat it today. A reason why you will rarely see an anime win an Academy Award. Rarely. Or even a animation studio outside of Disney or DreamWorks. Maybe maybe Illumination might get one as well. It's because the industry constantly says animation is for kids. Animation is for kids. And when they came out with the Academy Award for animation, made it a separate category because the reason why that award exists is because they snubbed Beauty and the Beast. The fact that the Academy base is like, oh no, animation's for kids, blah 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 blah. And they treated animation just as that meant only Disney, only a kid's film could win that title. What's the few exceptions that it wasn't a kid's film? Well, it was Ghibli. But what did Ghibli do that was different? Well, they made a kid's film. Ghibli's a kid's film. The film that should have gotten it was the year before people found out, well, I mean, technically 2 years before, that, what was the film? Gosh, what was the film? Spirited Away. 2 years before Spirited Away was the film that should have gotten it. A lot of people, including myself, were on animation forums and just throughout the industry saying, what the hell is the Academy doing? And that film was Princess Mononoke. The reason Princess Mononoke never got a nomination was because it was adult. That's simply enough. They're like, you can't show this to kids! That man had his arm ripped off! And that nonsense, that insanity, prevented that from being able to win an Academy Award. The reason Mononoke was never nominated was because it's too adult. And people can be like, oh, you know, hey, they did better with, you know, when Spirited Away came out. I'm going to tell you folks something. Most people didn't see Spirited Away until the second airing. I went and saw Spirited Away on its first airing. I had to go to an art house theater to watch it. And this was before Disney had Ghibli rights. There was probably a good half dozen people watching it with me. Same was the case with Mononoke. I had to go to a special screening, or you know, an individual screening of Mononoke in an art house theater as well. In fact, I went and got to see Mononoke to distract myself from the death of my grandmother. One of the things I don't like, and my family says you kind of gotten over it because you continuously go to the hospital, is I don't like hospitals. It's one of my fears to be in a hospital. I can't stand it. When my brother had an appendix issue, he was in the hospital. I never went and visited. I told him I can't. I just can't. I kind of wrote about it in 11 Kingdoms through a character that dies. In 11 Kingdoms, the grandmother of the main character dies in chapter 5. I don't remember which. And she goes by a phrase that I love to live by, which is, you're only in hospitals to die or be born. Never for any other reason. They may stop you from dying, but you're dying. You don't go in there for anything else. And so the grandmother's being a little bit more sarcastic about she knows her time's up, that she's dying, and she tells that to the main character, and the main character then has to accept that they've lost the one person in their life that they truly hold as an inspiration. This was the person who, while their mother was there to raise them, was there all their life, was their best friend. They grew up with their grandmother, and it's mainly because the character has anxiety issues, and so she identifies with her grandmother. And so when I kill off the grandmother very early in the novel, I wanted to make sure that she was a personality to be memorable throughout the story. So at the time, and I'm going to fix this tale because I still don't appreciate how this tale's going. I had her death be the equivalent of a child, like a little child's birthday party. And what I mean by that is they had a funeral, but they had in the West, we still have people who see animation as a pejorative way. Yeah. But in the story, she has clowns and celebrations and pony rides at her funeral, and that she has this, because this happens in the future, she has this monitor that goes through and has her pre-taped telling jokes at her own funeral. And the reason she said is death is always there, and it's meant to be celebrating the life that we live. And so in her death, she shows the main character that while we may die, we may be gone, and we may be hurt, because this is crucial to when the main character themselves end up in a life-threatening situation that technically makes them no longer living in this normal sense. That their life needs to be celebrated, needs to be honored. And very much what we see when the main character dies is we see the traditional grief, the traditional, I can't let this person go. And when they realize, well, their memories still exist, their consciousness still exists, and they can interact with the person. And throughout the book, it's like, are they alive? Are they dead? Which way do they choose? And the ultimate choice comes at the end. And in the end, the character's like, I can take this new form, a robot, essentially, because they give a robot, they basically create an android body for them to be able to possess, and put their consciousness in. And they say, you can be this mythical hero that this world has seen and live on as this legendary person, or you can just be you. Just go back to being you. But you'll still be without a body. You'll still never have physical feeling. You won't be able to touch things and be like, that's an object. The fact I wrote that before I had, nerve damage alienates me a lot more. If you've never had a moment where your body is numb, beyond the sense of, I slept on my arm wrong, it's numb. I recently had surgery last year for an issue with my body. That was not cosmetic, it was needed. It was science. It was needed because I would bleed out if I did. So when I did, I thought I was going to be put under. They did not. Instead, they injected my back with numbing agent, and I could not feel my lower half. It's scary as hell when you lose sense in the nerves. When I got my nerve damage the first time, I couldn't feel my left hand. I could not feel my left leg. I could not walk. It took me a week of recovery to be able to walk and be able to do things like, oh, I can go to the bathroom by myself now. I didn't even have control of my bladder at times. That is such a scary moment. When your body betrays you is such a scary moment in one person's life that it's frustrating. And anybody who's gone through that kind of stuff knows how frustrating it is, and that is probably what does you more damage mentally than the physical damage. It's because mentally you're like, I can move, but your body won't move. And I still deal with this with my toes on my left side of my foot. The last 3 toes will not move. I can go up and touch them. I won't feel it. It's such an alien moment to be able to see your limb. And I can't guess for somebody who's missing a limb, because I fortunately am only missing a tooth. I'm never missing a limb. And the tooth was knocked out by a bully. But I can say when you have that limb and you cannot feel it, it creates instant panic. And even the temporary moment that I knew my body was going to be numb from that surgery freaked the hell out of me. I was laying in my leg, or laying in the hospital bed that they put me in after the surgery, and I'm like, I can't feel anything. I can't move. I want to move. I can't. My body will not move, and I'm sitting here telling my feet, move, 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 and not doing it. It just freaks you out. It freaks you out 100%, and I keep wanting to be like, I need to get up and move. I need to get up and move. And it just won't, your legs just will not act. And that's just a brief moment for me in that case. Now, I had experience before with the numbness in my hand and the numbness in my foot. But luckily, they were just my hand and my foot in the past. If I could not move my leg, I'd be paranoid. I'd be flat out paranoid. And it's just how much the body mentally plays with you. And how much you don't realize your nervous system interacts. That brings this kind of weirdness to you. And that was the case, like I said, in 11 Kingdoms. That was a weird, trippy-ass moment for me. For other people, that's just normal. That's just normal. I cannot imagine going through life with that normality. I really cannot. Every night, I try to curl my toes, because that's what I'm supposed to do to get feeling in those toes. And many nights I go to bed frustrated because I can't move my toes. And at this point, it's pretty much considered they're dead. They have no feeling, they have no sense. Because I've done this several times since. If I stub my toe, so I mean I run that toe that I have no feeling in toe, I do not feel the toe. I feel the pain of the foot behind the toe. And it's like a freaking truck hits me in the foot, but the actual toe I can't feel. And it's just weird and trippy because I'm like, The toe's there. I can see the damage. But the pain I'm feeling is in the foot. And it's just a weird situation. And when I wrote about, you know, the whole feeling and concept of separation of body and self, and 11 Kingdoms, I never thought I'd deal with that. I didn't even think I'd be dealing with anxiety as I did over the years. And you write what you think, but sometimes what you write may come true elsewhere later in your life at times. Okay, I need to do something trippy. I'm gonna try and do these snakes that they have in the scene. I'm just trying to designate what color they need to be. I'm guessing these are snakes. The trippiness stuff, it really gets, you know, weird. There's not anything, but yeah. When one talks about, you know, the separation of mind and body and all that kind of stuff, it's trippy. I mean, we're talking about, you know, the trippiness of this drawing, how weird and unusual this is. I'll close that. That shouldn't be that open. Oh wait, I'm not even on the drawing. You guys aren't even seeing it. I thought I freaking went off. Okay, let's get back to the drawing. I don't know why I did. It's just weird. It's just plain weird. And when you come up with weird stuff, I could say the weirdest stuff I imagine. The weirdest stories sometimes I imagine. I came up with Witch in this way. Were nights I had a fever or a cold and I needed NyQuil to help me sleep. Or Dayquil, because those kind of nights, I get some trippy ass dreams those times. And Witchin came about through one of those dreams. Witchin was just, you know, fat cat crazy at times. When I was dreaming, because what I dreamed about was the concept of this witch going through all this stuff and learning, you know, about their life and how they can exist in a college where, you know, things are supposed to be normal and regular, and you learn about the world, but in Witchin you're learning about the world, but the world goes twisted on you. And very much that is how Witchin came to be in my mind, how I came and developed it. Demon Blade I developed over time. It took little bits here and there, whatnot. Which, by the way, Iris, I will be, I've got them in the system. I've got to finish editing them all to proper size and then put their pages in. But all of the 2013 run will be posted soon. It's all loaded. I just haven't put out the pages yet. So it requires some little bit of editing, and then I'm gonna have to go through and do each page. And at the same time, I'm kind of wanting to do a lot of the character pages, which has me being like, I also need to do character art when I have a moment to break, because I haven't done Chen's character artwork, and I need to do the Mystery Woman's character art as well as Armand, the principal, and maybe Miss Salters as well. And I might as well go ahead and do Lori's for it as well. But yeah, I've got that all set up for right now in the works to be done. It's just a matter of getting the time to do finish it up. But it's done. I really don't have any more to do. So you made this reflection about the hospital and Demon Blade was deep. Yeah. Yeah, and Demon Blade, a lot of the hospital stuff really comes from my fear of going to the hospital. Really. The whole how a living person only goes to the hospital to die. And it very much played into the 2015 run with the Legless Man, which I probably should do a character panel or page for too. A lot of that derives from both my fears of the hospital, but some other things I'm a huge fan of crime podcasts and whatnot, and a lot of his stuff comes into through that as well. And the concept that sometimes the scariest things in life are not monsters but people. And in his case, it's very much that. So yeah, a lot of that hospital scenario is there. I would say the last time I was in the hospital officially, and hospitalized, because when I had the surgery, it was an in and out day. But the last time I was hospitalized, I had two very scary moments. One was I was asleep in my bed in the hospital, under observation. They were observing me because my this is before we knew gastroparesis was the thing in me, and a person who was given the wrong information went into my room and kissed me while I was asleep. It woke me up, and I freaking went in full panic. And I left that hospital with the next day. I was like, I am not staying in this hospital another night. You let somebody come into my room, and I don't know who that person was. I don't know anything about them, but you let them in there, and they essentially, had an assault case with me. Not in an intention way. They intended right. They had good intentions because they were going to meet someone they had a relationship with, but they thought I was that person because they went into my room in the dark at night while I was asleep. And it was a security protocol missing. Now, before that same surgery, actually, this was when I had my nerve damage hospital trip, which I spent a week in. I could not sleep in the ICU because they put me in the ICU with the nerve damage because they didn't know, what the condition was and if it would get worse. At the end of my haul, they had somebody who was clearly mentally unwell. I'd say they were tripping on something, but if they were tripping on something, that something lasted a long time. Because they went 2 full days screaming their lungs out. And I mean, no breaks of the screaming their lungs out. Now, they were brought in by police, so I can only guess it was a mental issue. Potentially a mental issue with drugs. But 2 full days of screaming. Could not sleep at all. And the hospital staff were like, you gonna be able to get to sleep? I was like, no. I watched the first Venom movie that night in the hospital bed with it playing on, FX about 3 times. because there was nothing else between that and the Food Network to watch on that channel, on that show. But it was better than listening to the guy scream. And I mean, I'm working on music and songs still as well. For those that are wondering, like I said, yeah, we will be having some songs come out coming up. And you saw briefly while I was doing the talk on Stephen Colbert, it came up that I am working on a song right now that was originally intended to be a Tetra and Kyle song, and is now being shifted over to being a my about Tetsu song, and it's called A Heart Too Cold, and it's very much about being reluctant about love because of you fear rejection. And very much my story in the past, in the 2013 and in the 2015, I mean, ever since. The main story of Demon Blade was always my story, where she was taken advantage of by Yoku in a way that's not sexual in a sense, more of, but I mean, it could be read into being sexual, I guess in some ways, but it's very much meant to be, you know, again, the concept of the trust. We talked about the sense of trust. Mai's trust being violated is very much that sense. And so as we go into the current chapter, as I bring an end to the football game, it's very much going to be about trust for the next 3 or 2.5 books, or 2.5 chapters. It's all about trust. And you'll see how Yoku Shin Yoku manipulated Mai, and how the sword was created, and why Yoku did what he did. And that's something I didn't include in 2013. I kind of regretted. I show in 2013 I did show Yoku ripping the heart out of Mai, but I did not show the reason. I always kind of wanted to keep it in the background, but it's like, when I did the rewrite, I was like, no, it kind of needs to be more than that. It needs to tell more than that. So yeah, that's gonna come out in the next few chapters about Mai's trust and how it was violated. That being said, that's it for the Danny Elfman Lizard guy. I don't really have any ideas of what else to do with this. It's a trippy lizard thing. I mean, there's nothing else I could say about this. Very, like I said, it wasn't going to take me a full 2 hours to draw this one. So we're going to draw this other one. This one's a little bit more complicated. They used a program for this. It's going to be me doing a chibi for the first time on stream. I've done chibis before. Demon Blade Shortcuts is a chibi comic. I might use more shortcuts in the future. I don't know. Depends on the jokes. So this is the character they wanted to do. I needed a full body look, a little bit better, so I looked at this. But so yeah, we're gonna be drawing this character out. A lot of green, a little bit of red, and a lot of gray and some black. But fairly simplistic. I got the sketch done earlier. I kind of want to put more life into it because, you know, I feel what game or system they made this on is very stiff and not very life-like. It's kind of hard to say life-like in chibi creation, but it's very childlike in a way. Let's put it that way. And I kind of wanted to bring a little bit more action and life into it. So when I do things like Demon Blade shortcuts, that's what I kind of try to do with the chibis. So I felt these two together would probably make a good two-part drop today. When I was a child, I was hospitalized because of respiratory problems. Esophagus kept closing, or your esophagus kept closing, okay, on its own and couldn't breathe when that happened. It was really scared. So basically you had, I wouldn't say tonsillitis, but you had something going on with your esophagus that basically was closing up your air passageway. I've heard about that before. Luckily, it's with my asthma. I mean, that would have probably done me in if I had something like that. Yeah, that sucks. I had to get tubes in my ears, and most people don't know what tubes in the ears is. Basically, it's a form of opening up the ear canal. I had to get that done as a child. I couldn't tell you for why, and what came of it. I guess the doctor just kind of said they need to get tubes in their ears. I know I was put under back then. That was the first time I was ever put under in a hospital. And there's other things that would traumatize me with hospitals. My brother fell off a cliff, which gave me, he's alive. He's alive. He's got the scars, but he fell off a cliff. As a very young child, he fell off a cliff. He's got the scars from it. But I watched him fall, and that gave me vertigo for years. And I still have vertigo since, but I've gotten better over it, and I got better over it by working a roller coaster. When they're like, you've got to get up there. It's like, thank you. And not in a very, yay, thank you. More in a like, So I get how that could be very terrifying as a kid if you have issues breathing. And I mean, I can say it as an asthmatic, I have it very easily. You have issues breathing. I'm supposed to be walking every day these days just to get some exercise. And it's summer. It's the worst time for an asthmatic. Those who don't know, if it gets really humid or really hot, it's hard to breathe for asthmatics because it affects the lungs. It makes the lungs sort of become difficult and strained, and you're dying in that heat. Literally. But at the same time, it's like, okay, get out there and get exercise. But yeah, that would be a nightmare for me as a child. What you went through. Your throat closing up and not allowing breathing. Ugh. I've heard of stuff like that. I've just never heard anybody actually have to deal with it. That sucks, man. That really sucks. That you had to deal with that. But yeah, I mean, the hospitals are scary, but I mean, they have their purpose. I will say the gastroparesis has sent me to the hospital more than once, mostly because of the pain. And it was before we knew what it is. Now that we know what it is, it's just, here, take some of these pain pills. Just shove them down. You know, just shove them down. I literally have a pain pill that is every 4 hours, take as needed. It's like, wow. And at one point it was like, oh, just as needed. Now it's like daily. They switched me over to daily. It's like, you have to take it daily. It's like, great. And it doesn't do it really doesn't. The pain meds I take is dicyclomine, which is directly there to deal with stomach pain. And the problem is with gastroparesis is if there's a blockage, which it'll block in the stomach, there's a blockage, that pain medicine is not gonna go easily to where it needs to go, because the pain will probably be somewhere in the intestines, and if there's a blockage, it's gonna keep that from the pain meds from getting to that pain all the time. So the only way to recover is to literally rest and recover. Now, would there be other ways that I could be like, hey, I'd really like to have, you know, do something else, or, you know, find something I can do with this med, or tolerate it through diet? And there is ways to handle it through diet, but at the same time, it's really hard to manage weight on that diet. I can tell you the reason why I'm in pain these weeks. Right now, I had a salad. I literally had a salad the other day. That's why I'm in pain. I have been wanting some roughage because my body is overweight. And there's no other way to put it. I'm not like obese, but I'm overweight. And most times people are like, oh, well, to handle it, you need to have fiber in your diet. Well, the number one thing that my body won't digest is fiber. So yeah. I have yet to hear back about the contest so far. That's going to be coming out soon somehow. This song's just reminding me of it. I can't tell if that's just another one of these star-like things. I'm going to say yes. Okay. I will say, for those who read Witchin', Ryland is coming. Ryland is coming.
Explode, shards fly past my face. Theo grinning with charm in this strange place. The hair a mess.
I'll try to do the tips of the crown later. But let's get the base done as much as we can. Alright, let's see. I need to see how her hair goes on both sides. Okay. There's these. So this actually should be side. Does her ear actually appear? No. Okay, I need to erase the ear then. Okay. And I can say the contest is done. The voting has been done and all that, so I can say that much. I don't know, they're still voting or counting the tallies or something, I don't know. But the contest is done.
Years stretch time, inches where rumbles on. Enchantments of love grow stronger, our fears long gone. Theo's power casting chaos in the air. And somehow now I can't help but care. I built a fortress high and wide,
Speaking of songs,
where shadows
that's
can't dare
a
to
spring song
collide.
here from Demon Blade.
My daughters wrapped in winds of steel, to keep them safe, my hate's the shield. Tempest rage.
And I mean, as I'm writing the I'm not writing, but when I get to drawing my backstory, I'm debating and having the scene that occurred. So, I mean, when I put up the 2013, going through it, I saw the last issue of the 2013 issue 24. It had an opening, or it had a scene where Spring finds Mai with Eno, and they find, her spirit after what happened. And I'm debating showing that in like a panel or a page on that issue when it comes out, or saving it for when that scene occurs naturally in the comic. But a lot of Mai's backstory is really, and all the backstories are really tragic. I mean, I tried with the 2015 to do more of an ode, make every backstory some sympathetic tragedy, and it'll be interesting when Ryland appears, in which it will be. I'm this afternoon before the stream, I was sketching out the pages to build up to it. But I have to play out the scene, which is what you were seeing me draw, is a scene between Ida and the dean of the college, and her finding out about Diane's treatment of her new friend, Bridget, and the scene is going to basically be Ida finding that out and then discussing with Abigail on what to do as she starts her first day at work. But her first day of work is going to be a chaotic mess. I mean, that day for Ida is probably one of her more chaotic days in general. I've been writing more and more of a backstory, so I've got a name for the guy that appears in the latest pages. The guy calling her a Bruja and complaining about the Wansdales. I not only have a name, I have a backstory. So it's Eduardo. I think I'm gonna call him Diaz. And he's got a past with the Wansdales that he has issue with, and he's taking it out on Ida. But as things develop down the line, he'll play a different role as things go. But initially at the beginning of this chapter in this story, he's meant to be the asshole that is not going to be is going to be just a total dick to Ida throughout the thing. And then I'll leave it up to people if they think. I do have to state, everybody should be a suspect of Ryland, because Ryland is an illusionist, and he is in disguise at the in this chapter. He'll have the final page will be him revealing his disguise, but yeah, he's in disguise in this chapter. He may or may not have already appeared in this chapter. I will say who he's not going to be. He's not going to be, because you will see Val come into play finally as a regular character. Valorance Wansdale, and of course, he is not Armand Wansdale. He's not Armand Wansdale, who's the Dark Elf. He's neither of those people. And everybody else is, you know, either a known character or a new character that's developed. And what I mean, anybody can be chosen. Anybody can be chosen to be Ryland's hidden self. Let's see, trying to do a gauntlet. I'm trying to think of how to do the inner parts. It's been a long time since I've had to draw one of these segments. When I'm thinking about, you know, what's the best joke for this chapter, and there are two great jokes I wanted to tell in this chapter. One that got told last time, not this past weekend, but the weekend before last. Actually, no, it got told this time. Where people got to see Armand's disguise joke. But, I mean, there's a couple other good jokes, but one is going to be revealing Ryland's familiar. I gave hints about him in Love Potion Lament. And in one picture I drew, I hinted at it, but I didn't explain what it is. So with each of the familiars, I put in for a witch, if they have it, or witch or warlock in the series. The familiar has to have a scientific understanding of why, but using the concept that magic exists. So, like Doc is, of course, the familiar we're most familiar with. Pun intended. Well, Doc is of a race of owls that can use transmutation magic, called a Midnight Blue. And because of that, he can take different forms and transform himself into different things. And you'll see him transform into a form twice in this chapter. He did it once before, but he's going to do it twice in this chapter. And then you have Perseus, who we've gotten introduced to, is Esme's cat. And he is a shadow, what's it, a shadow tail? cat, and basically he can manipulate shadows to hide and move in and whatnot. And because of that, and him being a cat with his greedy nature, he steals food from the restaurant by sneaking through the shadow. Because I wanted the cat, even though I love cats, I wanted an asshole cat for Esme. Just having a troublesome familiar around, being that way, and the fact that Doc and Perseus continuously fight is another thing. They'll get used to each other being around, but, you know, just having that fun little nature with animals and trying to develop the world a little bit. But the page you guys saw me drawing, the page after it actually is going to be where, or actually, no, not the page after, page before it is where I'm going to be describing a little bit of how the world works. Because Armand's class, or as he uses his nomenclature, which ends in, like, I am human, despite him not being human, of course. He teaches a class of basically of the worldly events of world history. So you're going to learn a bit about the history of witching, how it diverts from our own worlds, and concepts in nature. I still debate. I'm kind of at the decision. No, they are not related. The Demon Blade world is not related to Witchin's world, and most of that is because Witchin is supposed to be more comedic, and yet at the same time has some dark history to it. And it'll have some dramatic moments, but it's not going to be anything near as dark as Demon Blade. And that's kind of why it's like, I don't want to have them mingling in their world. There might be a version of Ida in Demon Blade, and there might be a version of Tetra and Mai in that world. But they're not going to be the same. They're going to be different. So it might be a world where Tetra is fully female all the way, all the time. Or something like that. Might be a world where Mai and Tetra get together, not Kyle and Tetra. Haven't decided. But it gives, you know, I need to give personality and life into that world. Demon Blade is, you know, a little bit more, okay, our world, but magic exists, but it's been hidden from our world. Whereas Witch in the world, the magic exists, and the world knows that magic exists. So we play into that concept of, okay, they know magic exists, so they have this relationship of how groups work and interact with each in the world. One of the things I've come to the concept of is in Witchin, the Veil, the witches and wizards are in charge of keeping the magical creatures within the Veil. Occasionally they escape, but they're in charge of anywhere a Veil is concerned. Witches and wizards are in charge of keeping magical creatures there.
Your hair when you got sick. She can't do that with her perfect tricks.
Sort of like Harry Potter's world. You know, you make a turn and the world's different. But in Harry Potter, the magic's always there, but it's hidden away from people. In Witchin, it's going to be more, the magic's there, but people know that it exists. It's not that they're in denial. They're not in denial. They know witches are out there flying. Initially, when I wrote Witchin, I had in the opening Ida going to flying there. I had, instead of having Ida do the jump and drop into the audience, which jokingly she's did that multiple times despite the audience seeing it once, that she was going to get pulled over by a witch cop that basically was going to catch her for speeding. And they were going to have a good rapport. And the witch cop would have, I based off of like the main lead in Fargo. So she would be like, oh, don't you know? Yeah, yeah. Kind of personality. And it was going to be very much she'd have a child going or that works around in the college that she would have brought into play story-wise. But I was like, well, I'm already introducing from the start that most people don't fully know Callie into the world. And I was like, I don't want to introduce Callie and the witch police officer at the same time and introduce a potential character in the witch police officer's child when I don't have any idea what to do with that child. Callie is still not physically appeared. She's been talked about. I have drawn her. It is on DeviantArt. Callie is Ida's stylist. She's a witch that designs clothing. She's about Ida's age, and her mother kind of runs the shop, and she's taking it over. And she'll play more of a role later in the series. But she runs Poison Apparel, which is the brand that Ida wears all over the place because she became good friends with Callie, and Callie's using it as a way to advertise her product with Ida. So it's a lot of, come through, think things out, what works, what won't work in a scenario. When I wrote Witchin. Demon Blade had a lot more planning, but I mean, that's to be said. I mean, I initially wrote Demon Blade in 1997, so I am way off on this freaking. That's way off. I want the center. There we go. That'll be fine. Definitely will be interesting when Ryland appears. It'll be interesting when Val appears as well. I mean, Val technically has already appeared. I mean, he appeared in the first chapter, but his actual appearance before Ida, that'll be interesting. Because technically, at this point in the story, Ida does not know Val is is her. She knows she's gonna she has a fiance potentially from the deal, but she does not know that Val is the fiance choice. She does know who Val is because Val's an actor. And a very bad actor at that. He's notorious for really bad films. But he has the ego of, a top line star in Hollywood. Okay, let's bring the spikes out a bit.
To bring you something from a dream. A pair of socks that talk and glow. And who's the guest? It's I don't know. I don't know's here to steal the stage. With wisdom
I really do want to see when I can't wait for Ryland to appear because it's going to be an interesting few chapters with Ryland once he appears. And Val is going to be an overall threat throughout the whole story. because the Wansdales are the big problem, and Val's not a nice guy for the most point. He he's not like a horrible man, but he's very, his ego gets him more farther than anything else in the story. And because of that, he feels he deserves Ida. Because I got Twitter open on my side, and on one of my screens, and it's stuck on one of the pages we showed earlier. But I keep seeing the little trending moment pop up and change, and I keep seeing if there's anything different that's popped up. But the only thing that's there, and I mean, it's real sad to know this happened, especially right after he did a concert, that Ozzy Osbourne's passed. It's sad. The man had Parkinson's. In a way, he was one of the first celebrities to kind of have, enter into his home and enter. You could see how he lived and whatnot, and met his family. So it's sad to see him go. It really is. I don't know why I did that. And I mean, as somebody that enjoyed Black Sabbath a little bit, I mean, yeah, it's a tear runs down my cheek a little bit. Missing that we're missing a rock god, because that's literally what he'd be defined as. He's a rock god. Alright, do I see shoes on this character at all? Nope! Okay, let's finish up the wing and the weapon. And then we'll work on the dress. And I won't do shoes, because I don't see them. Alright. I just want to see the mace a bit here. Okay, there's just one tip before the spike of the ball, and then one tip at the bottom that are a different color. There's a lot I can't wait to get to. I'm eager to do my art, my comics. It's just fighting health and time and all that stuff. It's just, and trying to find work at the same time. It's just, it's really hard. I literally have paperwork to get filled out that I have to go meet a former coworker, friend, who does listen, and I am eager to go see her again. But I gotta go do that. Get that taken care of. I got a bunch of paperwork I gotta get in the mail for legal stuff, and at the same time I've got to put in for unemployment, as I currently still am on unemployment. Okay, so we need to do one here. All right. Ow, ow, ow. I can feel the pain meds aren't working, but I can't take them while I'm on stream. I really cannot. Because they're going to make me very, very sleepy. And even though I've got some energy liquid in me, I am going... considering how much I've been on this med today, I know my body. So I kind of just want to finish this up as much as I can, as quickly as I can. So what do we get? We get 1, 2, 3 creases, and then the metal chain, or the chains in the dress. So also seeing that so one of the things I have on Twitter right now open, or X, I gotta keep reminding myself it's X now, is if the Vshojo store is open or not. It's still currently unavailable. That's literally the tweet I have right now, is the Vshojo store, if it's open or not. And one of the things that kind of weirds me out with the decision, they just launched a new, very expensive, and I saw this on Crunchyroll today, very expensive Iron Mouse figure. Just launched. I mean, pre-orders just started for it. I know it was premiered at whatever the anime show, or wherever because Iron Mouse Encounter did a show like about 2 weeks ago, and they were showing the figure there as a premiere for pre-order. And only reason I saw it on Crunchyroll is because I was like, I've been waiting for one DVD set, and that's the second half of Free Ren to come out, and it finally dropped. It's like, well, I have a little bit money saved away. I've want to complete my collection. I'm getting the second half of Free Ren's first season. That was always intended. So it's like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put in my pre-orders. That's set.
They tell me you're long gone, but my heart knows that's a lie.
Whispers in the midnight air say you search but can't find me. I'm not a ghost, love, I'm right here, fighting for our destiny. Our love is bound by chains so
Okay.
strong.
We're gonna try and do that. I want to kind of redo the crown if I can. What's my time looking at? About half an hour left to finish this figure. So I'm gonna real quickly try and do the crown. And I think I best do it with the line tools to get it properly.
Father tells me you're no more, lost to shadows in the night.
So we'll do that there.
But in dreams I
Alright.
feel your touch, holding on with all my might.
It's got 5 points, so we need to make sure it's got 5. It kind of curves out.
But I'm here just out of sight, holding on inside your heart. Our love is bound by chains so strong. In a world that says we're wrong, we'll break those bars and prove them true.
I will say about the Witchin, Ryland, and Ida issue. Ryland's not going to be coming in friendly to Ida. It's at least a 3-chapter story that's going to come into play starting now.
Darkness on our path, trying to tear us
For them to realize each other.
I'm here just
Um,
out of sight, holding on inside
But I know a couple people, and I think you said, Iris, you had a little bit of, you felt bad for Ryland and Love Potion Lament. Well, Ryland's gonna kind of get his revenge a little bit for what happens, in Witches. And that was planned. I mean, it was meant for the two of them to have a tiff with each other from the start. That was planned back when I came up with originally having Ryland as a character.
Chatter and scribble, my pencils in hand as we draw. We chat, it's a wonderland. Colors collide
And I do feel very justified with how Love Potion Lament does kind of make Theodore/Ida into a bit of an ass. They get a little bit uppance from Ryland appearing. Okay. Something else I gotta draw, which is that green flame ooze. I can't tell what it is, but it's behind the head. And we're gonna draw it. I don't know what this is. The person behind the person who designed it can do it. It looks more like a flame, or so I'm gonna try and treat it a little bit better. I do much prefer to do those. If you ask me what I prefer to draw in here in the request, it's more OCs. It's more people's original characters. I love to see what people create as something, and I kind of go into that. So I mean, we've had a couple of people in here trying to sell their artwork to me, watching things. And is Ida's hair color inspired by Lo Fonterra from Promare, or Leo from Promare? I really like Leo characters having aqua green hair color, like Sheer from Fantasy Star. Not necessarily. So, I did not see Promare until after Ida was designed. Ida, the color choice for Ida was more because I kind of like the teal and pink combination. Mai has that in her outfit. When I draw her, she usually wears pink and teal. And Ida has the same colors. It's just kind of, that's how it came to be. And I wanted Ida, when I initially designed Ida, I wanted them to have a different look than just your average person. So I gave her teal hair, and initially Theodore's hair was supposed to be lime, and then it'd be a little bit darker with Ida, but I decided when I got to actually drawing the comic that I was like, no, let's just have them literally do a reverse Clark Kent. Where you could easily, the average person could easily tell that they're the same person. But for some reason, for some unknown and stupid reason, and I pointed it out in Witchin earlier, a lot of people won't add 2 and 2 together. I will say Ryland has not added 2 and 2 together when they meet. So Ryland will believe Ida is somebody completely different until it gets revealed to him. And he's not willing to listen to Ida at any point. So he's more than willing to have a tiff with Ida as he thinks she is.
darkness she finds her peace. Silent echoes of her release.
I mean, there are some people that, of course, notice it. I mean, Abigail, once she saw it, she's like, really? You think that's a good disguise? And the same with Esme. But I will say that Armand does not know the transformation. He's not added two and two together. Although he and Galvarius or Gaspardo, Wansdale are the closest to probably figuring it out. Val will not figure it out. Ida could transform right in front of Val. He will not figure it out. He's that stuck up on himself that he won't notice little things about Ida. Other people, I mean, Bridget will find out. Right now, Ida's not thinking that Bridget knows anything. Of course, she doesn't know anything at the moment. But as Bridget sort of, because they're going to move in with, she's going to move in with Ida and Abigail. They'll all be the three of them will be roommates. And they're going to she's going to be a roommate before she learns that that's the case. So you're going to go through all of Bridget's story here, literally in the next few pages, as you saw me drawing part of it. And they're after they get back to the dorm, they're going to, resolve Bridget's current situation as of right now. It's not going to completely resolve it, but it's going to resolve it for a temporary situation. So Bridget's no longer going to be sleeping in the hall or sleeping, in the student lounge area, like she says at the beginning of the comic. She'll be in the room. But she will not know that Ida's Theodore. And vice versa. So she won't know that until probably the next chapter or the chapter after that. As we deal with Ryland. And it's literally going to be a moment of Ida and Abigail just completely forgetting to tell her. But yeah, with Promare, I did enjoy Promare. We reviewed it, but I don't believe we watched it on the anime review until after I was already homeless in the car, and Ida's design was done before I was homeless. 2 years ago. So yeah, I mean, it literally is just, I like the combination of pink and teal. And I knew Ida was gonna have to wear pink. Have to wear pink. If I'm gonna mess with genders, I need the pink and blue spiel. Which ironically, it's Mai's color scheme in Demon Blade, and Tetra usually wears blue or white. But that's simply because I feel that's a better color combo for Tetra. And Ino always wears red. Kyle will wear green frequently, though. Okay, it is a dark gray. arms are going to be the same color as her skin.
Echo through the wind. Ghosts of friends who met their end.
I think the rest is pretty much grays, one shade or another.
Warriors lost without a trace. Crows above in circles.
So, what have I been watching? So, of course, we got our animated review, which I said before was Masamune Kun's Revenge. First season. We're just watching the first season, which is gonna be a bit different than I thought was gonna be a review. It's my choice, and I chose that. I'm literally going in. I was originally going in and be like, well, this is kind of a different way to approach a romance, and I'm still gonna kind of cover that a little bit, but I'm definitely gonna have to talk about how this series kind of made the anime in the first season be like very much made me confused. Essentially, that's the best way to put it. It makes me confused because all the stuff that happens in the second season, and the second season took 5 years, but from the first season. So I don't know how the first season really succeeded in getting a second season. Because it's really weird to have a show that all the interesting stuff happens in a season 5 years down the line. But you do all the setup in the first season. It's just weird on that. And so we'll be talking a bit about that. Hopefully next week. Whatnot. 2018, I made a comic, a really bad one, that had a character with aqua green hair. She was a trans zombie. Hey, cool. I mean, aqua green hair, I could see in real life. I mean, anime's got us getting all kinds of hair. Hell, I mean, I got pink hair here. I will say my natural color, so people want to know my natural color if you haven't seen it, is a dirty brunette. I've gone a bit red with it at times. I've gone a bit blonde with it at times. I try not to go full blonde because I know my family, and my mom's blonde. Now, mind you, I'm adopted, so we don't share genetically the same color, or we wouldn't share the same hair color that way. But it's free reign with blonde jokes and the family. So you gotta have a little humor with your family, and yeah, it's free reign with blonde jokes. And I expect nothing but the less if I went blonde, full blonde. But yeah, no, I normally brunette. Little bit of touch of blondes. I have highlights that are blonde in my hair naturally. So, Mai was always designed to have her blue hair. She was my first sort of iconic character design. Tetsu being always kind of the same way. No, that comic was embarrassing. I get it. It's embarrassing. It's fine to have an embarrassing moment here and there with comics. Yeah. I talked about critical view. Slightly embarrassment there earlier. I mean, the jokes were somewhat pundit myself. Deprecating humor is very common in the comedic nature. But I had characters in it that were jokingly called puds. Because they're puds. And if you don't know what a pud is, it's The bits and tackle, ladies and gentlemen. The dangly bits of the masculine identity. I didn't name them puds. One of my friends in college named him that way. He's like, but because he's laughing, he's like, this is a silly little thing. And I said, yeah, yep. He's like, I don't know. It's like, I call it divot because that was the original one drum design was divot. But he's like, it's a putt. It's like, what? He's like, yeah, it's a putt. I was like, I guess it is. He is a dick. That makes sense to call him that. So, I mean, basically, yeah, it was a joke to call them dicks. And so, originally, and I can say this was way back, and this is something I am embarrassed a little bit about, but if you go into my gallery, which is on embriaarts.com, so if you use embriaarts.com and you go to the gallery, you will find a webtoon series. Kind of. Some of it, you'll see elements of it. In 2000, webtoons were starting to be a thing. And I tried to create a webtoon. Fully animated, voice acted completely by me. And I created the different versions of the puds. And I did stupid versions of each of their voices. This is with a crappy, like, desktop mic, Certa 2000, that, if you don't know, those things suck. And with Flash. And so, there are some animated ones. One I had to privatize, because I got a song before it was really copywritten, and animated it. Fully animated it. And, I was told to take it down. And so I had to. It's in the private section of YouTube, for my work. But you can see segments and stuff all on the website. Or in the gallery. So you can see those early animations from me, but you can see other animations from me. You can see one of my first 3D animations, which was my college graduation in 3D animation, back then. And yes, I'm embarrassed. But I mean, at the same time, I designed a 1 minute and 30-second animation in 3 months, at the time that Toy Story was the biggest CGI at the time. I was born blonde and my hair got darker over time. It does that. So, those who don't know, the blonde gene is dying. The blonde gene is, just like the blue-eye gene, they are very rare genes and they are dying out. Blondes are slowly becoming brunettes in general. And it's simply because the older you get, especially with females, natural-born females, the more children you have, your hair will grow darker. It's a really weird scientific moment thing, but blonde is dying out. The irony is most blondes these days are just people who bleach their hair. But, I mean, it is interesting to kind of see. I do want to kind of figure out background to give this one. Ugh. Having a bit of gaseous problems with my stomach. So, yeah, the gene that makes people blonde is dying out. And that's just because it's a recessive gene. In the human body, and as we get older, as we, grow as a species, elements of that will slowly drain and out of the human genetic makeup. So, and that's what we're seeing basically with blondes these days, is they're starting to die out. The gene is slowly fading, and I think red hair is a genetic defect, and blonde hair is a recessive gene. I wish I had red hair. I really do. I wish I had red hair. I look good with red hair, and part of my family split on that, but some of my family, including myself, really think I look good as a redhead. But at the same time, when I was going in high school and whatnot, a lot of people thought I looked good as a blonde. I even tried dark hair one time, black hair. But that was just a Halloween thing, and didn't work out as great. Let's say did not look great. I thought it would, but it didn't. I'm gonna darken that part of the mouth. We're just gonna do a real quick background here that's similar to the picture that we're referencing. So we'll just do a quick blue first, and then we'll do different shade of green as grass. I'll even use a brush for grass that I have. Let's see here. Let's increase the brush tip. Just give it a little bit of a texture there, and then we can actually do darker. I'm going to raise the size up.
Every whispered word cuts deep. Hers are honey, his did weep.
And then we're going to add a quick sort of background, castle-like that was in the picture. So we'll do a dark gray outline with a lighter gray interior. And, oh crap, I should. Well, that's dumb of me. Let's do it this way. Okay, now we'll take that color. Alright, I'm gonna have to fix the green. I really am. So we'll go with the green. Okay. We'll fix that real quick right here. Should have done layers, and I didn't. Alright. Alright, it had kind of a reddish orange roof, so we're going to do kind of this color. That's quick, and then we'll take the gray, add a little shade darker, put it underneath. There we go. And we'll just do a little quick cloud in the sky. We'll do it with a brush. Actually, where's my brushes? There we are. That's a wet bleed. Let's do. I know I've got cloud brushes. I think they're on India ink. No? Where did I put them? There they are. This will work. Okay. I need to select just the blue. Where? Come on, where am I? There am I. Let's do. I'm gonna try and do this on a different layer so I can fade it. Alright. And I think we're pretty much done here with our 2 requests. And they were simple drawings to do. So, I mean, the request to do this Danny Elfman lizard from the Toad's face, or a face like a frog, and to do this original OC. Not my best. Not my best. Again, I'm in pain, so yeah, kind of figures much. Gonna be a little bit off. That's why I try not to work too much while I'm in pain. Doing art. I can write fine, but I can't draw too well at times. It starts to show in the sloppiness. But that being said, we've kind of covered a lot today, all about industry, and I think the best and important thing is to remember that it's all about you. I know it sounds narcissistic, but if you don't care about you, no one's going to care about you. That's an old line, and it's very true. And to trust people, you first got to trust yourself. And that was a hard lesson in my life. That's how I came out, is I did not trust myself. I did not trust my feelings. I did not trust my guts. And I knew who I wanted to be, or that I was trans, technically, since I was 7. But I didn't act on it because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't even know what trans was until much years later. But I let it eat away at me until I was an adult. And I had to start listening to me instead of listening to how the world wanted me to be. It hurts. It hurts. It still gives me problems. It probably screwing me out of jobs. Very much. But I'm me, and I'm happier as me, and my family knows it. They can see it, even though they disagree with the decision at times. They can see I'm a better person for it, and that's why I say at the end of every stream, go out there and be the best you that you can be, because it's about you accepting you. It doesn't mean if it's trans. It doesn't mean anything other than be honest with yourself. Put effort in yourself, and you will at least see through the next day. And I wanted to make sure I tell you that, because we're seeing it tragically with Mouse right now. She is broken. She didn't trust in her. She let other people tell her who she was. And it's good to see her come to terms with that, and now that she is coming to terms with that, go out there and support her. Go out there and support every one of the Vshojo people that are going through this crap of the talent, and absolutely go out and give to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. They need it because people need it for the live. It really is. Mouse is far better person to describe about what she's gone through and what her life is with that organization. There's some great documentaries. I watched them that feature Mouse and Connor on the Immune Deficiency Foundation. So go out and check those out. Support Mouse, support all the other Vshojo talent, and more importantly, support IDF. And as always, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, a wonderful week, and a wonderful year. And I'll see y'all again in the next stream. Oh, I'm going to grab this, Iris, before I just noticed it. Thanks, it's really hard for me to make friends. I mean, that's why we got to be here a little bit more and respect each other. I'm glad you're here. You're a good internet friend. I'm glad to have you here. And thank you for joining in and chatting. Outside of the bots, you've been the only one today. But we'll see. You know, hopefully more people will watch this episode. So, good night, everybody.
Lights go down streams and thanks for time we spend. Laughs and smiles all through night. With you, it feels just right. Signing off. Don't forget like, comment, some. Signing off. Ring the bell and show some out. Good vibes, share the fun ride. With you, I'm filled with pride.